You should have an invite lane.
Yep. Alright, my client's super slow getting them.
That's stuck saying they're taking blue.
Killering is on... Yes, stuck.
I feel like this HUD is smaller than the one that I use on middle sticks, although I know they're exactly the same file. Maybe it's just the font I'm using is like smaller vertically.
Probably. Pro draft we go.
Oh boy, pro draft, my favorite.
It's a long. Place your bets now if we get through draft before the end of the C9 TSM.
Are they going into game now?
They're starting in 20 seconds.
Okay, welcome then officially, ladies and gentlemen, to the Diamond Get Wrecked 2020 Summer Splash Final. My name is Meristematic. With me is Liposuction Lane.
Hey guys, you might know me as that guy that got clapped in the third place game yesterday.
Well, we're bringing him back for the finals here. It's Stuck Gaming versus Gecko Slammer Armageddon. Stuck Gaming comes in as the number 1 seed, undefeated. They basically just speed ran through their semifinal as well, looking like a very dominant team. GSM comes in the number 2 seed, kind of squeaking past ROTM yesterday. 2-1 series that was pretty close, pretty interesting, but we'll see where these guys want to go now. Already a lot of bands flying through. Orin Maokai Cho'Gath taken off the board, Stuck trying to force Vici onto not a tank, and then Arya Filios Volibear going to be the counters for GSM, and Karma the first pick.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I know Stuck Gaming likes to ban that Maokai Orin as the first 2 bans, but to add the Cho'Gath on top of it, I think is actually pretty smart, because Vici also plays that. Basically guarantees a carry versus carry matchup top, unless they're going to opt into something that's a lot less meta, like the Malphite or something like that.
Yeah, and Ashe Lulu, the bot lane for GSM, countered by Ezreal as well as Graves, and that sets us up for, Pokey with some Enchanter supports in bottom.
Yeah, and that Ashe pick is just really strong in the meta right now, especially with the approach velocity buff. When she gets that slow, she just is able to stick onto people and they're not able to move away. So really strong duo in the bot lane.
Yeah, and that's a Shaco lock-in for the Shiny Bidoof, his sort of pocket pick, but going to take that into Graves, which I don't know the most about that matchup. I normally ask Aikedo to tell me what is going on with that, but you're here, so tell me about Shaco into Graves.
Yeah, Shaco not picked that much, so I'm kind of interested to see how it does for this Graves pick. If he plays around the boxes, I think he can kite Graves pretty well, but Graves is a lot stronger, I think, just overall as a pick. So I think Stuck Gaming likes that jungle matchup for sure.
Yeah, and then the Echo taken away from Evenifar, and Nautilus Leona going to be taken away from Lord Reeves, which means that they're really thinking that Karma is going to be a mid or a top for Killering or parry difference. I think we've seen both play it throughout the season, if I'm not mistaken.
just to make sure we get a forced carry matchup in the top lane, the Malphite's banned away as well. So 4 top bans for Stuck Gaming. They're gonna get this top counter pick, which is pretty nice for them.
Yeah, the set, and it'll be the Aatrox for parry difference, and the Syndra, I'm gonna guess is for Killering, and then that'll put Karma as the support pick, which would essentially mean that those last 2 red bands kind of for naught, essentially for GSM, maybe forcing that flex toward the support position, but yeah.
Yeah, both teams basically ensuring that there's going to be no tank played in this game. I know Set's kind of that, but definitely more carry oriented than most, with all the tank bans that came through, so it should be a pretty fun game. I think the Karma pick being first, especially with how these drafts played out, is pretty good when you're playing against carry versus carry style, because you get that team buff with the Mantra Shields, so...
Yep, and now we'll go into watching them do the exact same draft in the client, because yay, pro draft, I love it so much. But, well, you got some time. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the finale, I guess, of the season, and our first cast on the mainstream, so that's kind of exciting. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. Hopefully you caught the Plat Finals earlier, which were a lot of fun on the stream, and now I'm pretty excited for this Diamond Finals. We've got a lot of pretty explosive picks that'll be coming through for this game number 1.
Game definitely seems like it's going to be kind of snowbally with all the carries. There's not much as far as like engage potential except the Ashar and then maybe like Set Orianna. So I think GSM is going to have a lot easier time engaging on fights based on how these comps shaked out. But...
yeah, always good the fun gamesmanship of hovering picks that we didn't pick. We're going to just continue to threaten the ribbon.
Yeah.
This is honestly my least favorite part about Pro Draft. We'll go on this tangent, but you already know what you're picking. Just pick it. Let's get on with our lives. Let's not waste more and more time just hovering shit. Anyway.
Well, it gives them more time to talk, right? That's what it's all about. Getting the strategy talk. They get like an extra 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's for sure what they're talking about, not just laughing about how they're playing Shaco in Game 1 of the Finals. But...
I mean, if there was ever a game you wanted to pull it out on, I like the Game 1 pick, because then at least you have some recovery if it doesn't go well.
Yeah, if you win, you're just godly. You might force a Shaco ban for game number 2. If you lose, you can be like, Shaco, we trolled that draft. All right, let's go next.
Yeah, and I really like the matchup of these teams, because Stuck Gaming, especially with how they're drafting, likes to play around parry difference in that top side. So picking a very safe bottom lane that allows them to farm up and play around top should be really good for them. And then on the other side, GSM likes to play around their bot side. They usually pick a strong duo, and then Shiny Bidoof usually goes down there to help out, but he can pop up all along the map. And especially on the Shaco pick, come up with some pretty unexpected ganks.
Yeah, I'm also curious if we'll ever see that interaction where you kind of submarine with Shaco with the Orianna ball on him. If he could just like deceive into the middle of the enemy team, get that big shockwave. That's the more surprising one. The set will be more normal, but that's kind of boring. You just run at them and hit E and then shockwave.
Yeah. I haven't seen Shaco in so long, I forgot that interaction existed, but yeah, if they are able to pull that off, it could be pretty big.
I always feel like we hype up these Orianna combos, and then the only one we really see that has worked recently has been Volibear with Orianna, and even that's like, a lot of the time, because people are like, oh crap, it's Volibear running at me, I guess I better run away, and then you don't get shockwaved.
Yeah, usually Volley has to come from a different angle, or you have to have some other type of setup CC.
But we don't have a Volibear. We got it banned this game, so it's the set who's even more obvious at running at you, and then the submarine Shaco. But yeah, we get 3 minutes to discuss what we think is going to happen. So we can do some small research and see how their meeting went during the regular season. I actually did Stuck Gaming drop a game.
Stuck one.
Was...
I think they 2-0'd this series. I could be wrong.
Oh, I forgot the match info just isn't there. I'm not gonna bother looking.
Oh, it was a 2-1 Stuck Gaming in week 2.
All right. Well,
so
a lot has changed since week number 2. So
that's for sure. Yeah, it's been a while since Stuck Gaming has really played most of the top of the league, because Return of the Middle Six played them week 1, and then GSM week 2, and I guess XD played them recently, but
still, they had that front-loaded schedule, and a lot of teams like to power up through the season. I think GSM has been one of those, as they looked a little bit shakier in their first couple of weeks, but were able to run the table toward the back end and secure that number 2 seed.
Yeah, definitely both these teams deserving to be here. Played really well in their semifinal matches. Stuck Gaming just running through XD. Now I do want to talk about, and we may see it here, Parry Difference really likes to do a different build on the Aatrox. I've seen him pull out the Trinity Force when he's not playing into tanks, so we might see that here. Definitely not meta, but he really likes it on the Aatrox pick, and I don't think it's terrible, but it does delay your death stance, which is usually why most people want to go for that Black Cleaver first, because it's just less gold. Also, you don't get the mana.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting, and especially against Set, who could also potentially build a Trinity Force, although more commonly, I think recently, has been Blade of the Ruined King and then a Black Cleaver, which I have my own opinions about, but that's at least the most common build for Set right now.
Right. And neither side's really super tanky, so we'll have to see what Set decides to do here. You definitely have to play from range if you're Aatrox, but should be an interesting matchup. I'm curious to see if Shiny Bidoof tries to combat some of the pressure that Aatrox can put out in this lane. If they get Vici ahead, I think they're just gonna have a lot easier time, because this bot will be shoved in most of the game.
Yeah, so we'll finally head into game number 1 and see how these drafts do stack up against one another.
As expected, we see the Shaco with Ignite Smite. He definitely wants to get early kills with that, help snowball a lane. I think if there was ever a comp to play the Shaco into, this looks like a good one to have. Not a lot of no tanks, because they were all banned out in draft, so could be a good pick here.
Yep, and just a reminder, go ahead and speed up just to make sure that we're on the same page. And then we'll get into some action now. On the blue side of the rift, wearing the blue health bars for game number 1 will be Stuck Gaming, and on the red side of the rift, wearing the red health bars for game number 1 is Gecko Slammer Armageddon. Already we can kind of see some fan out from Stuck Gaming, but we might see something a little spicy from GSM, and especially with the Shaco pick. The world is kind of your burrito. You can do whatever you want with that.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
I think they're just hoping that somebody will walk in here, but
yeah, they get the spot on the top of the red buff, and they see where the deep wards are coming in. So Shaco might have a good idea about where's warded, where he needs to avoid to get some sneaky early ganks off.
yeah, and Stuck Gaming actually gets some really good ward coverage here.
Yeah, they saw the invade toward the we'd always called it the battle bush in my group of friends. I don't know if that's universal, but the one by the raptor pit. I don't think they expected that the second word was also placed on the red buff. So this is actually known. You can do some really mean things. I don't think we're going to see it. But if you go in and trigger the boxes before the red buff spawns from Shaco, or you have some ability to do that, you can really mess up his clear. But not going to see that this game, just getting off to that safe start. But they do know that he's on that red buff, and Stuck is still hiding in the shadows, so...
Yeah, now I'm curious. I kind of expect that we're going to see maybe a 2 camp here for Shaco, and then maybe a gank into topside. Because I think bot is not going to be in a spot where it's easy to gank for him if he goes down there.
Yeah,
so
and again,
be able to spot him on those wards.
We're talking a lot about the Shaco pick because he's got to have an early impact, or you do scale off pretty hard, especially comparative to the Graves, who's more interested in power farming up.
Right. You definitely want to make your first gank count, and it doesn't have to be a kill necessarily, but as long as it gets your lane ahead with like a flash bone or something like that, or gets them a big CS advantage, it can definitely pay off.
Vici not quite able to find the Skullcracker onto parry difference, and we'll just continue to farm that one out. But yeah, honestly, outside of some Shaco influences, these lanes should be relatively quiet across the board. We'll see if Vici and Perry really want to scrap, but it's hard to see a Syndra and Orianna getting a solo kill. It's hard to really see the 2v2s until at least level 6 in the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, most of these lanes, unless somebody makes a big mistake, should be pretty safe for both players. It's not like there's a huge matchup disadvantage for either side in any lane.
Yeah, and kind of interesting, Ian Hong opting for the call start, which is something we've been seeing a lot more. I don't know exactly what started that. Parry difference hits that third Q, but the shield from the W from General Vici is going to be able to turn that trade back around. And the set getting a little bit better, the early trading against the Aatrox.
Yeah, so the big deal with the Cole starts that we're seeing a lot on ADCs right now is that you take Cole and then cut down, and then you get like 7-8% extra damage because you as an ADC have less health because they go a Doran's item, or you just have a low base health, which I think Ezreal's pretty low just because he's pretty mobile, but that's kind of the idea, is that you get the cut down advantage, so you don't really lose out on the damage for taking Cole.
Yeah, I always think it's super interesting when tech like that kind of shows up, because those items haven't been changed, that rune hasn't been changed in quite a while, and another W hit there, the Haymaker from General Vici starting to whittle down parry difference quite a bit.
Yeah, and he's kind of in a rough spot here with the lane pushing back towards General Vici and pretty low. This might be a good time for looking for a Shaco gank.
Yeah, and you can see just how defensive he has to play it. Dashing back in order to land Q1 on the Aatrox isn't a great situation for him to be in. Full disclosure, we're both top laners, so Lena dabbling a little bit in jungle, but if we focus a little bit on that matchup, that's probably why we're both relatively familiar with the set Aatrox matchup. And some of these other ones are a little lost on us, the intricacies, but Perry hits the teleport, comes back in, trying to turn this on to General Vici, gets the Conqueror proc in Q3. Vici's pretty low, but I don't think Perry can dive that one at this point. And at least he didn't expend anything. It always sucks when you burn like an extra summoner spell or an ultimate and then you don't really get anything out of it, but you'll get the shove in, at least kill that cannon minion that Vici won't be able to grab.
Yeah, and so far we haven't seen a Shaco interact with the lanes much at all. Neither champion has, and that's usually an advantage for Graves already up 6 farm.
Oh, and Shiny Bidoof has the Dark Seal. I wonder if we're going to see more of an AP flavored Shaco.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I think it's definitely can be a more annoying and can scale almost like a Teemo where you can just like set up an area for yourself. It should be interesting to see what they decided to do there.
Yeah, he walks toward top, gets spotted on the ward by parry difference, gets immediately pinged out on the minimap, and we're just kind of settling in, waiting for some level 6s and maybe some action to happen as a result of that. Neither team really super interested in the early dragon objective either. probably as a result of neither bot lane getting a super significant push, although Vital and Lord Reeves now starting to get some poke through. Catalyst is chunked pretty hard, and that might be the big key that they're looking. Yeah, look at them immediately slide toward that dragon. They got the shove and they got the extra damage. Vici gonna force that ult out as Shiny Bidoof walks into lane, but the Worldbringer's here for parry difference, but he can't make it happen. It's first blood going to the Shiny Bidoof on Shaco, and Killering walks forward just threatening with the Syndra. Yvenifar forced to use the Shockwave in order to disengage that sort of pressure from the Syndra.
Yeah, that's really nice. They get a gank down while Graves is down bot lane doing the dragon. So kind of a trade there. Definitely made it worthwhile, and they've got a pretty big lead now for General Vici.
Yeah, Stun Killering actually doesn't have enough mana for his ultimate, or he would have popped that. Gets hit by the 2 Shiv Poison, another auto, maybe 1 or 2 more for Shiny Bidoof, but he can't quite finish that one off as he doesn't have the Deceive up. But Killering forced to flash away, and now you have that opportunity to potentially return to the mid lane.
Yeah, I definitely got to commend Killering there to just save his flash for the last moment there. Making sure he actually had to use it, and potentially baiting Shaco in if he was able to stall long enough for mana. But seeing this Shaco pick pay off here with some early ganks, getting the kill on the top side and now blowing the flash in the mid lane. We'll have to see if those that ends up paying off.
Yeah, I really like this skin. I hadn't seen it in game yet, but Shaco skin looks nice. I got to play the Zoe skin. Everybody will call me a degenerate in chat right now, but they're a nice little group of skins. I'm kind of pleasantly surprised by them.
Which one is this?
It's the Arcanist, just came out.
Oh, okay. I don't. I like do my one spending spree on skins a year, and that's about it. So I never like look at the skins that come out unless it's a champion I play.
Yep. Parry difference in general. Vici just going to continue to duke it out. He actually doesn't hit the middle of that Haymaker, and that might be enough for parry difference to get an advantage. I really like the Executioner's Calling from General Vici early. That should be super annoying, especially if he can layer it onto parry when he's looking for that extra passive auto for the heal.
Yeah, and it's also super good for finishing Aatrox off if he ults. But parry difference playing this really well here.
Yeah, able to dodge in and out of some of the trouble there. More autos being layered down, but the World Ender isn't quite enough. Ice Poseidon trying to counter gank after Vici gets the solo kill. Red buff going to tick him down, but he can hide in the minions and should successfully escape that gank. So General Vici with the solo kill in top lane, and Stuck not able to turn that one back around.
And that's where that Executioner Calling comes in so clutch. He's able to save his ultimate through the Aatrox burst and then re-engage after that was down. Plays it really well, and we are seeing just how much this early Shaco interference was able to give him an advantage to where he's able to get a solo kill by himself.
Yeah. But Shiny Bidoof continuing to farm up his jungle. Really want to see him make a play toward that mid lane where he has the Syndra's Flash blown. I don't think he can gank Vital and Lord Reeves. I think Karma Ezreal is one of the least gankable lanes, in fact, unless you just find some super creative path to get behind them.
Yeah, unless they're pushed at tower, it's really, really hard for Shaco to gank this lane. But despite that, it is sitting in the bot bush, maybe looking for something with the Ash Arrow.
Yeah, Ian Hong has that one available. Ash Arrow going to connect on to Lord Reeves. The Karma going to be taken low. A couple more autos. They don't get the fear from the box as he was able just to speed out of range with the E-Shield.
Yeah, and like we said, it's really, really hard to gank there. And now you've got this engage tool from the Ash down. They were able to stay pretty healthy there, so it might be...
Yeah, and after seeing that gank, never mind. Yvenifar hits the Shockwave onto Killering, and they'll find that gank as Shiny Bidoof comes in, cleans that one up with that Dark Harvest proc. I was going to mention that the trade for that gank in the bottom lane was the Rift Herald for Ice Poseidon, as he does grab that up. But then immediately the mid lane under fire as Killering falls.
And I think that's why you're pretty disadvantaged when you go for like a low percentage play, especially with the Rift Herald up. Oh, we're gonna see another.
Shiny Bidoof maybe here doesn't get the. He one-shot that. Whoa. Okay. Of the characters I thought could just one-shot a Shaco, turret. I wouldn't have put Graves on the list, but apparently right there.
Yep, and we're gonna see the second dragon spawning here in about 30 seconds. Already one to the side of Stuck Gaming. See parry difference trying to set up a freeze here.
Yeah, we'll see. If he can set this up for a decent amount of time, it might open up Graves to finally get into the game and get some gold on the top side. You can see that he's got a small CS advantage, but the 2 kills for Shiny Bidoof will outpace that gold count. Let's actually take a look. Yeah.
If you're Shaco, this is definitely how you want this early game to go. Get some early kills for sure.
Yeah, Vici just trying to force through so he can break this freeze and winds up taking a good chunk out of parry difference for his own trouble. But now it looks like the Dragon's just going to be handed over to Stuck. And despite the 3 early kills for GSM, the objectives just haven't been falling their way. That's 2 Dragons and a Rift Herald that have gone to Stuck so far. And now trouble in the bottom lane as Catalyst is taken low. He hits the Wild Growth for a little bit of health, but not able to finish that one off. Now a dive in the top as Shiny Bidoof picks up the killing spree as he'll take down parry difference. That was a really nice dive. They even had Yvenifar headed up. Not going to get anything for his roam up there, but it's a good early setup from GSM. I just worry about this objective count.
Yeah, at least they're getting something back. So far, Shiny Bidoof hasn't been on the side of the objectives at all.
Oh, Ian Hog just steps up through that Mantra Q, looking for more autos. Lord Reeves forced to get away General Vici or Yvenifar. It's Yvenifar who was trying to teleport down, but he got canceled by Killering. Killering doesn't have any mana now and might be in trouble himself. Shockwave pulls him back in. 2-shift poison for the slow, and the extra auto from command attack from Yvenifar will finish off that kill. And a little overextension to cancel that. Now the collateral damage doesn't... Oh, Shiny Bidoof blocked the collateral damage shot, and it wasn't enough AoE to finish off Yvenifar.
Yeah, I think if you're Stuck Gaming at this point, you because you've been doing so well on these objectives, I think your way back into this game is just to try to force a 4th dragon, get that soul because you already have 2 stacking, especially with Shaco being so far ahead now at 3-0. Definitely getting himself ahead.
If they can get that though, the Ezreal Syndra with Infernal Soul, Graves as well, just nutty with that.
Especially
every time we look up here,
switching.
parry difference is playing these trades super well, but he's just losing health. Just feels like a pretty decent set favored matchup, at least so far. We'll have to see if it swings when we get some items in on the Aatrox.
Yeah, and he's already 0-3 and down 20 farm, so...
Lord Reeves gets hit by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow in the bot lane, slowed up by the Glitter Lance, but he'll be able to flash out to safety. Now Vici pulls back in parry with the Headcracker, Skullcracker. I don't know. Shiny Bidoof's still looking for more 2-shift poison, not quite going to be able to finish him off, and he'll at least successfully navigate the gank using his ult and his flash. Vital gets thrown in by the Ranger's focus, forced to shift away, and GSM now looks like they're winning trades kind of across the map.
Big chunk there with the electrocute from the Syndra.
As I was saying that, yeah, something we didn't really note was the Shelly was dropped in mid lane and able to take down that mid tower. And I don't know if you've been following kind of the discourse about an early mid tower take. LS has gone on record as saying it's bad to do that because then you can freeze the mid wave on your side of the map if you're GSM and just funnel gold into either your AD or your mid off of a freeze. I don't know if we'll see GSM play it out that way or if you even agree with that sentiment. I don't particularly, but I've heard the discourse now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to what LS has said, especially if there's no objectives to play for. That's where mid tower being down excels, is when you have a dragon or a Rift Herald or a Baron up. But in this early game, when we're still about a minute and a half from the next Drake, you can freeze that mid wave and put pressure on the map while you're losing stuff in mid lane. We're going to see a fight in the bot.
This is a little risky as Vital gets hit by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but you can see already Graves on the way, as well as Syndra was sliding down, decides to go back to mid lane. But I think that was really intelligent of GSM to call off the pressure. It does suck now that you have the Ash Arrow down for a potential dragon fight, though.
Yeah, it'll be pretty close to being back up by the time that dragon spawns, but it'll probably still be another like 10-15 seconds away.
Well, that's the
at
Shaco
very
clone
least.
that's clearing this ward. I think Ice Poseidon realizes that now. Yeah. You can see how happy he was for just a second. He thought that he'd found the Shaco for free, but not quite.
And there's definitely some big ults down now for GSM with this dragon spawning. I think Stuck Gaming really wants to play for this dragon. Again, I think their win condition is going to be that soul.
Yeah, Perry and General Vici just going to scrap up in the top lane again. And that trade went pretty well for Perry Difference, all things considered. Yeah, Stuck just able to bully through that bottom tower. Now, 2 towers on their side plus the 2 dragons and the Rift Herald total compared to the 5 kills that GSM's been able to rack up. It's a small gold lead for GSM, but we really need to see them play the objectives a little bit better than they have so far.
And I think both teams are pretty happy with where the gold is right now. I mean, obviously you'd want to see a little bit more on the Aatrox, but Graves has gotten a lot of that gold, getting the solo tower gold mid with that Rift Herald, and we're going to see a skirmish for this dragon.
Yeah, Stuck gonna go ahead and start it up. GSM just kind of hovering around Perry Difference has committed the teleport in, and they'll clean up that dragon, no problem. Stun lands onto the Lulu, but now Shiny Bidoof's on the top side. Vital is chunked really low, but he'll eat the Cinder ultimate in return. On the front side of the fight, Vici's able to take down Vital, but Perry Difference getting kited out. He'll get taken down by Ian Hong. On the bottom side, GSM has just destroyed that fight. It's a double kill for Ian Hong and a double kill for General Vici. 4 kills go the way of Gecko Slammer Armageddon in exchange for that dragon.
Yeah, I mean, you really want that dragon, but we weren't able to get on the Ashe, and we were really seeing the Ashe-Lulu combo excel there. After he got out of the fight, was able to re-engage with all the slows and the kiting, and there's just no way to get away from that many slows.
Yeah, and it looked like the bottom side of the fight was kind of starting to go okay for Stuck Gaming. The Syndra ult almost chunked through the Shaco. The Ezreal was relatively alive after eating that Shaco combo, but General Vici flies through and finishes both of the kills off, and now GSM feels like they've got the run of the map. They take the mid tower, they take the bottom tower, and they'll take the Rift Herald.
Yeah, and this is going to be their first objective of the game. Able to pick it up, but in a good spot here, up 3k. And definitely got the gold in the right spots.
Yeah, and now General Vici is just huge on this set. He's got his Blade of the Ruin King finished, he's got the Executioner's Calling, and now he's backing with another 1200 gold. So he'll pick up a Stinger on his way to the Trinity Force, a man after my own heart. I love that build. Alright.
Yeah,
I've been playing
now,
a lot of set since release, and I hate Black Cleaver. I hate seeing pros build Black Cleaver. Unless you have like 3 or 4 AD on your team, you're not getting the shred because you're just not applying it with any of your ability. Anyway, that's a whole discussion. I
think there's the discussion about it being cheaper as well. But I think it definitely in this game where you have basically no one, that getting rid of armor is going to be very helpful against. I think it's for sure better.
Yeah, Ice Poseidon gonna come clear out this wave. I guess I just had a realization. Isn't Ice Poseidon just regular Poseidon?
Maybe that's the irony of the name.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't off my rocker there a little bit. But, yeah, we really need to see some of these big items come through. I like the Hex Drinker purchase from Ice Poseidon. We have the Ludens finished up. We've got the 2 items now on Vital, but he needs to stack that Mirror Mana. We're starting to get some of those items through that we need Stuck Gaming, but now with a 4,500 gold disadvantage, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Poseidon's Ocean Boy, not Ice Boy. Yes, I know that he's... But Ice is still just water, right? So he's still in charge?
Like, is there an Ice one?
There's no God of Ice. Yeah, so I think it goes to him by default. I don't want to argue semantics of Greek gods in the chat now, but yeah, Vici should just straight destroy this 1v1 now with the Blade of the Ruin King finished, and yeah, he can heal back up immediately.
Yeah, and there's just nothing that Parry Difference is going to be able to do in this side lane because General Vici is so ahead. I think if you're stuck gaming, you really got to think this 4th dragon is kind of do or die, because you don't want that lead to get much larger without having some type of advantage on your team.
Yeah, although with the positioning right now, I think that you're at the point where you've got to steal it rather than just have a better setup, which is what they've had for the first 3 dragons. It's a difficult spot. We could see GSM just reverse sweep the dragon count, as it were, with the position that they're in, but 50 seconds on that spawn. If you're stuck, you also could give up 1 or 2, hit a couple of item spikes, and then fight for it if you are confident in your ability to out-team fight GSM.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they really outscale. I think if anything, it's pretty even scaling. I mean, the Ezreal will definitely get stronger, but you've got like Orianna and Ashe scales pretty well into the late game, especially with all the utilities she provides.
I'm going to have to look up why I had to pass that one through the auto mod filter. But anyway, Enchanted Crystal Arrow Sail's just a little bit wide, but it doesn't matter at all as General Vici able to find that pick onto Parry Difference with the help of his buddy Shaco. And now kills are 10-0. The Shockwave going to pull in, make Lord Reeves and Ice Poseidon consider their futures around this dragon, but they're still hanging around, maybe going to look for that steal. Rift Herald is summoned in the bottom lane, maybe to just apply more pressure to the decision making from Stuck. They've got to make a couple of correct decisions now regarding this. Killering throws in the Shaco box, at least not going to get ganked by that. Vici able to zone off Ice Poseidon, and the dragon's secured for GSM.
And finding that pick just shows why it's so big, because they're just not able to fight you straight up. So really good for them to just engage on this weak side lane on the Aatrox pick, get that kill before the dragon.
Yeah, now Killering might be in a little bit of trouble. He gets ignited. Shiny Bidoof has a Super Soaker, which is very interesting. I wouldn't be the first one to be able to guess AP Shaco builds, but yeah, Super Soaker, first item.
I think it definitely gives him more utility as it goes into late game.
Killering just trying to set up Yevhenifar, but he'll get destroyed as Parry Difference walks in to everything from GSM. They were looking for that pick, but not quite able to finish that one off. And now Ian Hongel zerg down that tower. Shiny Bidoof dashes forward, and Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands onto Lord Reeves. He's forced to flash away. More flashes forward as Graves actually takes out Shiny Bidoof. It's the first kill of the game for Stuck Gaming, but it's far too late now as General Vici kind of just gives up. He's circling back to try to help his team, but now he's collapsed on. Doesn't want to give up. This is a pretty big shutdown that's represented right now. Vici uses the Haymaker, but he's going to fall, and it'll go into the pocket of Killering.
I honestly might have rather seen that go onto your AD carry, who's going to scale better as this goes on, but and definitely be able to kite better, but still big shutdown there, going a little bit deep for that extra kill, and you don't really want to give over gold when you're this far ahead, but definitely nice engage up into that point for GSM. They're definitely playing this game a lot better, especially around this top side.
Yeah, I also feel like every time we go to Killering, he's just out of mana. Those mana cost nerfs on Syndra seem to be hitting him a little bit hard this game, but the 2 kills, 2 big shutdowns, one onto Graves, one onto Syndra, represent a decent gold swing, despite losing that tower on the bottom side. But now we have Baron as kind of the important objective. I think Karma actually stole that. She did. The Mantra Q was able to steal the Rift Herald away, or the Rift Scuttle away.
Yeah, that's kind of big because that's vision you cannot clear, especially when you're the team that's behind. It's nice to be able to have some guaranteed vision in that area so they can't just start up the Baron and sneak it.
Man, he gets that just to the exact edge of the leash range and then hits that. I don't know if that was super planned from Shiny Bidoof, but that was really nicely done. But you can see just the pressure and the amount of vision that GSM's able to get in this blue side jungle right now.
Yeah, they just really don't have a great way to engage fights. The best thing you've got is probably like a Karma launcher shield, but usually you want to use that to kite, and especially with Aatrox being down, who's usually not good at engaging anyway, is definitely not going to be with an 0-6 start to this game. So I
Yeah,
think
the engage tools in this whole game are kind of lacking. You've got the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and you've got Vici just kind of running at people. And that's pretty much the list.
right. And I mean, the Ash Arrow is definitely better than nothing, especially when you're ahead. So I think it's really hard that even if they find a fight that they want to take for Stuck Gaming, it's going to be hard for them to not just get disengaged from.
Yeah, and now a couple of recalls taken in that mid lane mean that its vision control is going to swap over to Stuck, at least briefly in that Dragon Pit, or the Baron Pit, excuse me. So they'll have some vision, they'll have the ability maybe to find a sneaky way to get parry difference in there. And I'm really looking at him trying to finish up pretty much 2 items. He finishes the Black Cleaver now. Really want to see that Death's Dance come through. But those Ruby Crystals don't build toward a Death's Dance, do they?
Does not look like it. He's
no,
going to be good for that.
That'll be a Steric's Gauge as a second item. More than likely.
Yeah, I mean, at least it gives him a little bit better way to engage because he can take more damage. But right now we've got Stuck Gaming, who really wants this dragon that's going to be spawning in about 15 seconds. They're all topside, and all their vision's topside. Maybe they're looking to trade.
They're
kind of desperation
YOLOing
Baron play.
Yeah, they're YOLOing this Baron now. Parry difference is headed up there. They get spotted by the Hawk shot though, and now Dragon spawns, and Parry's tries to force a fight, can't find the Infernal Chains. That should just be a free Dragon for GSM. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, really just giving it up here.
The Ezreal ult tried to steal. They're still going to try to force. They're going to try to trade this Baron for that Dragon, but I don't think they can actually do that. They're getting so chunked through by the Baron. There's the Dragon secured. So now Yevhenifar and Shiny Bidoof are... Well, they could head that way. They don't even seem particularly like they're in a hurry to head toward the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, Stuck just doesn't have the team comp to take a Baron quickly because Ezreal's now has his Bork, but at the time that they were doing the Baron just had the Cutlass. So isn't able to do as much damage as he could have, and even then you don't have the best team comp because you don't really have someone to tank and take that damage debuff for the team. So just really in a rough spot here for Stuck Gaming.
Yeah, and it's hard, and we're not seeing GSM take like a super proactive fight, so it just feels like they're kind of bleeding them out very slowly. We're kind of waiting on that Dragon timers. I guess they're gonna go ahead and sweep up the Infernal Soul for them, and then look for the end.
Yeah, they're definitely just trying to keep this area warded, kind of just baiting as the Baron is kind of the last remaining objective. This Ezreal now pretty strong on 3 items. Have to see if they're able to utilize Vital at all. They're going to start the Baron up here.
Yeah, they're going to start the Baron up with the Shaco clone. General Vici can tank as well. This is a relatively safe option for them. The Ezreal just zooms through. Mantra Q not going to be there. That's a Baron take for GSM. No memes for the GSM Baron. That one was very clean and very well set up. Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands onto Vital, but they're not going to be able to track him down now. Ice Poseidon layering some damage into General Vici and Shiny Bidoof, but that doesn't matter too much as the push continues in mid with the Baron buff Killering. With a big stun plus the collateral damage, they're looking for Yevhenifar. That's just... They spread their damage out across too many targets. They could have zeroed out any single one of them, but instead hit 3 different targets with all of their abilities, and as a result, GSM will take a base and be relatively none the worse for wear.
Yeah, Ashe and Lulu getting super low there, and Killering flashes in and decides to ult the Orianna. They might have been slightly outside of his range, but we're not able to find a kill there, and I think that actually could have been a fight that could have bought them a lot more time. It looked really good for them.
Yeah, especially if they can get this shutdown. Like, there's a small shutdown on the Orianna, but the big one is on Ashe right now. 650 gold in your pocket plus that 300. That feels pretty juicy, but just not able to cash that one in. and we'll see if they're able to as the game continues. Now they have to try to hold off with this wave clear. They have decent wave clear with Ezreal Karma. It's not the best, but gonna lose the turret as a result anyway.
Killering trying to hold with the blue buff and not a lot of mana remaining, just alone against this set.
Ooh, Ian Hong pulls the trigger on the Enchant Crystal Arrow, but not able to track down Lord Reeves this time. But now the inhibitor turret under fire. Chunk it down to about half so far. Still have the cannon minion available. Super Soaker over the wall just to get a little bit of damage. Chip damage onto parry difference and vital. But this is slow. This is textbook. Very methodical so far from GSM. But they're looking strong toward closing out this game number 1.
Yeah, just kind of slowly bleeding them like they have been, and now Set's going to be kind of alone with this top wave. I guess Killering goes out to answer him with the teleport, but the 1-3-1 here is going to be really hard for Stuck Gaming to answer.
Yeah, and again, as you've mentioned, there's just no ability. Even if you spot the 3 separated, you can't engage on the 3 as 5 because you just don't have that ability that can pull the trigger. Ian Hong going to get pulled in by the Infernal Chains, but they'll chunk through the inhibitor turret. And now parry difference, going to get chased down. Ian Hong needs to be careful. He flashes in aggressively, gets saved by the Lulu, and he's on a rampage. He's picked up the double kill. He's picked up the triple kill.
Wow.
He's not going to be able to finish that one off, though, as Syndra does finally shut him down. Another ult. Killering is holding the line. He's trying. Shiny Bidoof is here, but the 2-shiv poison is too much. It's an ace for GSM, and Shiny Bidoof and Catalyst are going to try to end it, as General Vici wasn't a part of this fight. He's going to teleport in at full health.
Yeah, that's just going to be the game. GSM able to clutch it out there, and Ian Hong lives forever on this Ashe Lulu combo. When I thought it was going to go down, but just a really well-played game there for GSM all around. Dominated the entire game.
Yeah, a lot slower game than we've been seeing from some of these other playoff games, but it felt like GSM was relatively in control the whole time. There was the worry about the Dragons. There was that opportunity, certainly, for Stuck Gaming to find their mark in the game, but GSM comes up pretty big. The Shaco picked kind of the big surprise. That looked pretty good from Shiny Bidoof.
Yeah, he definitely made the most of the pick. Decided instead of going for those early objectives, which he probably couldn't have contested anyway, is able to pick up kills whenever they were trading objectives. So really just played through the strong top side, and everywhere else just stayed pretty even. So they were able to close it out.
Yeah, and as we look kind of at some stats from the game, not even a huge discrepancy on that damage done. Ian Hong coming in as the damage king, but relatively evenly distributed across the two teams. It's just that application of the damage that GSM was able to find.
Yeah, it should be exciting to see what adjustments are made for Game 2. I'd hope Stuck Gaming picks a little bit better engage tool than just a Syndra stun, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and take a small break. That's the wrong screen. But we'll be back for game number 2 between GSM and Stuck Gaming. So don't go anywhere. We'll take a short break and be right back. Hopefully we get an invite at some point.
That'd be ideal.
I've only got like 2 or 3 of them on my friends list even, so guess we'll see.
I got you. Oh, never mind. Said lobbies full. Oh, it might give you that too.
Game lobby's full. Let's go.
I got you. There you go.
You ready whenever? Didn't want to speak for you.
No, it's fine. You can always speak for me.
Get that big Maris solo cast in the Diamond Finals.
I'll just drop off mid-game.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 between GSM and Stuck Gaming. We have Pro Draft going on again, because of course we do. So far, these bans are the same, and now they're not. Lulu going to be taken off the table by Stuck Gaming, and the Karma for GSM as well. But we're just flying through these bans. I appreciate that, at least.
Yeah, both teams seem pretty dead set on what they want to ban. I think the Lulu is definitely a good pick to ban, and also the Volley Bear follow-up. That was something that GSM used to perfection in the games yesterday against RTM. They first picked it both games back-to-back and really executed on it well, and GSM is going to take the Ashe.
Sorry, I'm counting game score. 3, 4. Okay, so Stuck Gaming's played a lot of 2-1s this season. They've actually dropped 4 games. So, anyway, just to update something that somebody was asking in the chat, that'd be a 14-4 regular season.
Yeah, I think GSM and them actually have the same loss record, both at 4 games, but...
Yeah, so Ashe, first pick, countered by Misfortune, and Lee Sin would be interesting, and that'll be locked in for Ice Poseidon. That's a lot of priority put on that pick that I don't think Shiny Bidoof plays.
I think actually he had one Lee game that played this split, but it's definitely not something that's super common for Shiny Bidoof to pull out. We're actually going to see the Braum pick, which GSM's played a lot this split. They really like that pick a lot, and I think the Ashe Braum combo could be really strong, especially into this Misfortune.
Yeah, and we'll see what Stuck Gaming want to go, especially with Karma and Lulu not on that table. You're missing that kind of safer Enchanter pick that can maybe bully the Braum. But Orianna locked in again for Yvenifar. We saw him have a pretty decent performance on it game 1. Not the big showstopper, but also, you know, didn't have any bad ults, didn't whiff on anything, and that's all you can really ask for from your Orianna, right?
Yeah, and definitely helped in that early game to get the Shaco ahead. Had some clutch ultimates that set up for nice ganks from Shiny Bidoof.
And the Leonas, we're going to take the opposite and just try to engage on that Ashe Braum MF Leona, very strong lane. Especially considering you can proc the Sunlight in so many ways as Misfortune, plus you can get that Love Tap passive. It's just a lot of damage that can come out of nowhere all of a sudden. So
Yeah, I'm
set.
really glad to see that they changed that up and got a pick for themselves that allows them to engage and have some tempo.
Yeah, it did feel like that was really what they were missing in game number 1. So good on them to kind of shore up some of that weakness. And then Set and Orin gonna hit the ban table. That should set up for a Cho'Gath pick potentially for GSM. What else does Vici play? Like a Vladimir or a Yorick is what I've seen. I don't know if that's comfort currently, but
Pretty accurate. I would guess that we'd see the blind Cho'Gath if we're going to see anything. Definitely gives them... The Cho'Gath pick's really nice because it gives you a lot of objective control, which would be a little bit different than what we saw last game, at least in the early game. But it does give Stuck Gaming the counter pick in the top lane, and knowing how much they like to play around parry difference, I'm going to guess that they're going to give him the top lane pick, especially with mid already picked.
yeah, so Stuck looking for solo laners. You can get that counter that you want into Orianna, but it's not going to be Cinder or Cassiopeia. It'll be Lux, which follows kind of a similar mindset. I actually really like Lux, but we'll see where we go. Zach for more initiation and engage. It feels like you kind of need some damage here from your last pick then if you're GSM.
Yeah, the Cho'Gath could be that, because you can go the AP build. Kind of gives you like a nice single target burst. But it'll be interesting to see what they decide to go here.
That is a Malphite. So,
Well,
could be the AP flavor. You could just look to blow up Lux and Misfortune. I kind of doubt that. The Silas. Ooh. All right. Have you been playing much Silas recently?
I haven't been, but I have seen it more frequently in the top lane, especially into tanks, and it's a pretty annoying matchup.
So there's a couple of different builds right now. The most interesting one, there's a 45% CDR rush build on Silas, where you buy the kind of bits of everything. You buy the Kindle Gem, you buy the Fiendish Codex, you have it from your runes. But you can just spam W, basically. It has no cooldown. You heal just a ridiculous amount over and over again. Wow, that would have been rough. I almost just removed the scene rather than removed the pro draft from the scene. But yeah, you can heal over and over and over again with that 45% CDR on Silas. It's just disgusting when you hit mid game.
Yeah, and he has so many good ults to steal here. You got Ashe for extra engage, Malphite for engage, Zac for engage, and Orianna are, which all scale really well with the AP that Silas is going to be building. So
yeah, I really like that pick from Parry Difference. I am excited to see it in action. I worry a little bit about the damage from GSM. You don't have a huge amount of tank to chunk through, but you're relying on Ashe a lot for your damage in this team comp.
yeah, and maybe some clean engages from like the Zac Orianna. I feel like in a straight 5v5, unless you're able to block a lot with the Braum wall, it's going to be a lot harder to execute because they're just going to look to kill Ashe and try to get out after that.
Yeah, and you have both the short range tool with the Silas diving in and the Lee Sin kick, as well as the long range tools. You can look for a light binding, you can look for a bullet time. It's just a lot to try to navigate for Ashe in these fights. You can, of course, just get CC'd and died, and I think it's going to come down to which team can really execute their initiation cleanly.
Yeah, and this might be the type of game that's like whoever initiates first gets the win, because if you can burst someone down very quickly with all the CC that both squads are presenting, you might be able to just have an advantage in the fight that way.
But yeah, we'll clean up the rest of these picks. Again, match point for GSM, looking to take home their first, I believe their first ever first place performance as an organization in Diamond. Would be a really nice milestone for them, and a really solid performance for their organization. You know, second in Platinum, first in Diamond doesn't sound too bad. Sounds kind
No,
of like
not
another
at all.
organization I know.
uh,
Memes aside,
well,
this is pretty exciting. This will be our first new winner for the Diamond division in over a year. It's been ROTM, it's been the late PPC, and that's been it in terms of our winners for the past year in Diamond. So, regardless, we'll have a new champion crowned at the end.
yeah, both these teams looking for their first title, so it'll be really nice to see who we get. Well, I guess it won't be GSM's first title, but
Yeah, I'd have to look up the history. I think that would be their first Diamond title, though. Did we get rid of the history page? That would make me very sad.
so you won better. We go to the GSM Discord.
Oh. Oh, there's a past results tab. Okay.
Second, third.
Yeah, the last non-Middle Sticks, non-PPC team to win was KSU in fall 2018. And then Mosher's team was summer 2018. So it's been a while for Diamond to have a new champion. Well, it's been a full calendar year for anybody in Platinum other than Sensei Squad, and here we are.
Yeah, so
Anyway.
I'm excited. Completely different team comps than what we saw in game one. Definitely a lot of engaged tools, and this is going to be a very brawly game as I expect. I don't think we're going to see this 0 kill early, like 10-minute early game like we saw from last game. I think there should be a lot of fighting, especially with all the CC that we're going to see.
Yeah, I particularly want to see Ice Poseidon play a little bit more up-tempo than he did in the last game. He was scaling up on the Graves, he got some objectives. It felt pretty good, but Lee Sin is an entirely different jungler. If you try to play that way on Lee Sin, you're essentially just not as effective of a champion. You might as well not have picked that champion. So
Yeah, and I think if you're stuck gaming, this is really the draft that you wanted to try to get. Try to get this like big disadvantage in the lane, in top lane, around parry difference, who I know didn't have a great game one, due to some nice ganks from Shiny Bidoof. But it's definitely their strong point and who they like to play around, and that 2v2 is way stronger than the Malphite Zac. So if they can get the Silas rolling, I think it's going to be a pretty hard game for GSM.
yeah, that said, if GSM can get ahead, if they can hit their engage tools with the Zac and the Malphite, I think that they have definitely the opportunities. It's not like oh man, that's draft loss, let's go next.
No,
it's
definitely
just,
not.
I think that it's a little bit more, it's both more easy and more difficult to execute. It's difficult to get to the point where you are able to just roll a fight, but it's very easy to execute once you get there. You hit R on Malphite and click, and then you hit E on Zac and click, and there you go. You just won a team fight, right? But
Yeah.
to get to a point where you're able to group up as 5 and force stuck gaming into that situation is a different monster altogether.
Yeah, and for GSM, I think you really want to play through the spot side. Again, they do have I think the better 2v2 option. This Ashe is already really strong, and because you have this Braum, who's just a great pick into the Misfortune, I think you have your way that you want to play this game. Both teams seemingly have very clear lanes. They should be pretty interesting as we go into the loading screen.
Yep, apologies, will be a black screen for just a little bit while we start this one up. Oh, interesting. All right, so we've got the Electrocute on Lux is the thing that kind of sticks out to me from the loading screen here.
Yeah, definitely interesting rune choice. Does give you a decent amount of burst. Do you know if that procs with like an E auto? That would be 3 ticks of damage, right? So that would proc.
I think so. It's a little bit difficult to get in range for E auto sometimes, but yeah, I believe that'll count. Anyway, welcome in. to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 2. On the bottom side of the Rift, looking to close out the series will be Gecko Slammer Armageddon in the blue health bars, and in the red health bars, fighting for their playoff lives, will be Stuck Gaming.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
5 points for this game. No weird shenanigans happening.
Yeah, not getting the wards down this time, but I think both teams a little bit anxious. They don't want anything to happen game 1 or game 2 here, to either risk getting a championship or losing that away. So it's a pretty standard start.
Yeah, I am kind of interested just that there wasn't any, even just kind of light pressure, especially with a Braum. You're just so strong at level 1. This is more of what I expected, but it's the wrong team. So it'll be the 3-man squad from Stuck. Going to go ahead and bully the Ashe off and get the word on the red buff. So they should know now that that's Shiny Bidoof starting on the blue side as the Zac.
Yeah, and this is what you kind of expect to see where the junglers are starting. Definitely want to play around the lanes and head up to the lanes that they want to be helping. Zac starting the top side so that he can path down to bot, and Lee Sin on the opposite side going to be pathing up the top.
Yeah, now Vital and Lord Reeves going to be a little bit late to lane. They haven't lost any experience as a result of it, but might lose that push, and the level 2 from the Braum and Ashe can be kind of devastating if they're able to really pressure this. Yeah, already some autos being traded in. Braum passive will be procced. Just the double up and return. They're not really rushing for that level 2 so much as just poking them off the wave. It looks like they will hit it significantly first. Autos onto Lord Reeves. He's forced to flash that winner's bite at level 1.
And there we're just seeing the power of that Ashe slow, especially at level 1. Just can stay on top of him and forces the flash with really just no effort at all.
Yeah, kind of interesting. He actually opts for the Hawk Shot level 2 just to make sure that Ice Poseidon isn't waiting in the wings, and even spots him on his red buff. So a lot of knowledge for both teams on respective jungle paths. And the reason I say that word on red buff just timed out, hadn't spotted Shiny Bidoof on it, so you know he's going for that full clear. Or is ganking top or mid, I guess, but that's not as common on Zac. But now Parry Difference looking that top side. They should know that Ice Poseidon's in the area. So Parry Difference getting aggressive, dashes forward, hits the Abscond. Not going to be able to finish that one off, though. It is the flash forced out of General Vici, so now potential to return for Ice Poseidon.
Yeah, and that has to be a little bit frustrating for the Ashe, who decided to opt into the Hawk Shot, so you can know as a top laner, hey, we've got Lee Sin top. I think he was just, the wave was in a rough spot for him, so he had to be pushed up there to try to get it to reset, but definitely with the flash down gives him an advantage, and now this wave is going to be frozen on him, so not great for the Malphite.
Yeah, and you can see this matchup isn't super bad for Malphite. You can kind of poke with the Seismic Shards. We see he opted for Grasp rather than something like an Arcane Comet, but you know, no judgment on either choice particularly. Just noting, Lord Reeves going to get stunned up by that Braum passive, has the W pop, now taking full damage, and it'll be first blood for Ian Hong in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and with that flash that they blew earlier, a really great gank here from Shiny Bidoof.
Ice Poseidon on the return trip, dashes in with the safeguard, more autos coming through, the red buff ticking, and he'll finish that one off. Nice clean gank there from Ice Poseidon.
And we see both teams executing exactly where they wanted to, both executing off of those blown flashes. It'll be interesting to see which strategy ends up coming out ahead, but
fancy feat
nice
there from
dodge.
Vital, able to dodge the winner's bite. Still going to potentially get stunned up. Leona's here, just going to try to turn this on to Ian Hong. That W pop actually does so much damage. The flash forward, Vital punishes him. Now the Make It Rain going to force Catalyst away. Shiny Bidoof is waiting in the wings, but I don't... Is he going to go for this? He is. He's jumping in. Vital walks forward. Stretching Strike doesn't connect. He'll jump forward for the W. Has his passive popped. One more auto from Catalyst will finish it off. He's forced to flash in there to get that trade. Zac will come back to life, but Catalyst has to be careful. There's minions not aggroed on him, so he'll get out safely.
Wow, both teams just kind of baiting at the last second there. Very dangerous. Catalyst almost ends up going down, but A 1-for-1 trade when it's all said and done, and Ash is going to be here to collect this large wave that was stacking.
Yeah, so immediately looks slightly Vital favored with the Caulfield's Warhammer finished up. Should come back to lane and able to bully, but Ian Hong going to grab that big wave and get kind of the eventual advantage of the big CS lead, potentially. It's a big trade from Parry Difference. Oh, he's got the ult. He'll go ahead and pop that, and he gets the solo kill and the flash away. Parry Difference flexing his muscles on the Silas top.
Yeah, now 1-0-1 up 20 farm, and Malphite's going to lose a huge wave there. Definitely not what you want to see if you're GSM. This Silas already off to a great start.
Yeah, and that's just a result of that pressure from Lee Sin. Already had forced the teleport back to lane after his second death, and now he's got to take that long walk back up there, watching those minions die to the turret.
This is where it's so scary to be playing against Ash Braum. You just get slowed in this long lane. It can be really dangerous, so I'd almost just want to sit at tower to wait for that to come in with the wave pushing, especially now that they moved Zac down here.
Yeah, both junglers kind of hanging around bottom. It's full vision now for Ice Poseidon as they're going to look for the engage. They find Ian Hong, stun him up. Everybody's still just level 4, so no ultimates available. Ian Hong now has the Rangers focus, starting to layer into Lord Reeves. The junglers kind of collapse from the side as Killering is there as well. Everybody disengages for the time being. I think we're going to see some more fireworks, though. Never mind. Ice Poseidon just dashes back over the wall. All right, well. This is casting off the mini-map because we just want to watch top lane beat on each other. Dragon's going to be started up as well for Stuck Gaming while we watch Parry Difference just win trades against General Vici. He finally hits level 6, but Lord Reeves finds the engage onto Catalyst. He'll flash onto Ian Hong. The Q didn't quite connect on the right target there, but they'll flash forward. They're looking for more. Ice Poseidon finds it. Can he live through the turret shot? It's going to stack up. He's actually executed. No one did any damage to him during that, so it's 2 more kills for Stuck Gaming on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and I think Ice Poseidon actually might have been able to get out there, but he flashed in place, blowing that under the tower. But when it's all said and done, 2 kills going over to this bot lane, and so really good for Stuck Gaming.
Yeah, and I just wanted to highlight the little play from Lord Reeves there. Hits the Zenith Blade onto the Braum, and then flashes forward to get the stun onto Ian Hong with the Q. Means that they're able to grab both kills rather than just one. So nice little play there by the Leona.
Yeah, and Malphite is just in a really bad spot here. It's very different, just freezing the wave on him. There's just no way for him to walk up.
Yeah, also worth noting is Parry doesn't look like he's going for that max CDR build I was talking about. He's headed for some more sick damages. Has the last chapter finished first.
And I think when you're this far ahead, I don't know if you need to go for the CDR build, just because you are already at such a big advantage. You probably just want to be pushing that into full items.
Yeah, Catalyst walks in. He's got to be careful though. Both AD carries are level 6. But neither support is currently. That always looks like a lot of damage from the Make It Rain, and then it never really is. So he's kind of
and he landed a nice Q there from the MF, but gets mitigated by that Guardian. Otherwise, would have done quite a bit more damage.
Oh, there it is. That's a nice double up from him. But Minion Wave still kind of in favor of GSM, despite everything that's happened in this bottom lane so far. GSM may be looking for roam mid for a Dragon. They're going to grab some deep vision. I always like this play to grab your support and head in, but he's going to find the resonating strike. Lee Sin just takes it. He'll kick it back toward his bottom lane. They're trying to collapse. The bullet time will finish him off. The Braum shield is not quite the correct direction there, and the collapse from Stuck Gaming finds them 2 kills. Ice Poseidon with a really nice kick on the Lee Sin.
Yeah, just barely landing that Q on the Ashe and is able to take it almost at max range, and then lands a great kick right into the waiting arms of his bot lane. And now they're going to convert that into a Dragon as well. Stuck Gaming just having a lot better early game here.
Yeah, this looks more like what we expect to see from them, what we saw from them in the semifinal, and what we didn't see in game number 1 as a result. But Perry still looking for a little bit more. Finds the abscond, finds the ult. That's a lot of damage. All right.
Not
Go
much
off,
to
parry
cast there.
difference.
He showed up and then he was dead, and that was about it. Parry difference freezing the wave now. Malphite is just going to get continually far behind. I had this feeling yesterday when I was on my Malphite pick, and yeah, definitely doesn't feel good to not feel like you could do much in that lane.
Yeah, trade of ults here, but Killering might pay for it as the Zac hits the Let's Bounce and will take the kill. Both mid laners just staring each other down with the laser with the Shockwave, but it's Killering who'll wind up falling.
And it's nice, GSM firing back, able to get a pretty big shutdown in the mid lane. Sadly goes on to the Zac, but some gold is better than no gold. So, nice find there.
Yeah, and we'll start seeing some items getting finished up now. Both junglers have their completed jungle item. Also interesting to notice the stopwatch on the Zac means that he's got just a huge amount of dive potential as they look to go on to parry difference. Do they actually have the damage to finish him off? General Vici has to be super careful. Shiny Bidoof now forced to flash away, but Ice Poseidon is here to try to clean up. That stopwatch buys a little bit of time, but there's no one coming for GSM, and that will be cleaned up by Killering. I guess he just won the final spark for fun, but yeah, that was an attempted dive that just did not go right for GSM.
Yeah, I don't know why you're trying to dive the one of the strongest members on the team, especially with this Malphite being so far behind and not with really much damage to follow up there. I guess they just felt like they needed to do something on this top side, but ends up, because of Ice Poseidon's nice response to that and parry difference, able to outplay under the tower to get 2 kills on a play that GSM forced.
Yeah, and Ice Poseidon will even finish up that Rift Herald as well. Just a lot of objectives going into their pockets. We saw them play the objectives a little bit better in game number 1 than GSM did, and now we're seeing them have the kills to also back that up, and it just is starting to turn into a quick snowball for them. But yeah, here's Shelly being summoned. They're looking for the dive. Ice Poseidon has the kick into the Resonating Strike. Parry difference actually doesn't hit the abscond, but Vici knows that he's dead. Almost gets taken down by the turret, but Shelly will finish that one off. That was all the plates as well. That's so much gold in their pockets. Yeah, look at them. They're rich boys right now.
Yeah, and they just keep going back to this top side, and now this is not what you wanted to see. If you're GSM, I think we talked about it in the early game. This Silas definitely wanted to get strong, but you wanted to play around this Ashe pick, and so far haven't been able to get much gold onto the Ashe.
Yeah, and we haven't really been able to see those nice clean picks that we saw with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow in game number 1. It's starting to get a bit rough for GSM, and it'll be difficult to see if they can find a way back in it, but they have some of the team fighting tools available. Yvenifar heads for the Archangel Staff build on the Orianna. I'm not a huge fan of this build, although I know it's super popular. But it's going to delay the team comp, delay the damage just a little bit longer for GSM, so we've got to see this game really start to extend out in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, and I think GSM at this point, you want to try to maybe look for picks on the spot lane. I think that's really where you could.
Yeah, teleport coming in for him. Actually, it's a double TP from General Vici and Yvenifar, as Lord Reeve's going to get stunned up eventually. He should get taken down. Shiny Bidoof is here. The 5 men collapse bottom. We'll see how many extras they can find. They'll find parry difference there as well. It's 3 kills for GSM. They made the play that they needed to make, and now feels like, you know, they're taking a punch. They're getting back into it. Oh, but Ian Hong over the wall. The Catalyst shield just can't keep him safe from the Lux damage. Killering still looking for a little bit more. Hits the Light Binding. Ice Poseidon there to try to follow it up. They're going to look for the dive. Shiny Bidoof can't find anything to Stretching Strike into, and it'll be another disengage for Stuck Gaming. They still haven't been able to chunk through that tower.
And GSM, almost as if they were listening, makes the play
right after I mentioned it, trying to get around to this bot side, and they do finally get some kills onto this Ashe, but
Oh, how didn't that stop the Lee Sin Q? Anyway, Ice Poseidon able to find the Q that he needs. Killering hits the snipe, and as we were praising GSM for the play, it gets turned around by Stuck Gaming.
yeah, just staying around a little bit too long there. Maybe Ashe was trying to get a better buy for herself or something like that, but just not with the full health enemy
Oh, Parry
team.
Difference has the Malphite ult. They'll just delete
Goodbye.
Yvenifar from the map. Goodbye, indeed. And Shiny
Yeah,
Bidoof
and
being
this is-
chased through his jungle. Ice Poseidon doesn't find the resonating strike that time. Where was the hitbox that time, Riot Games? Anyway, he'll track down Shiny Bidoof. They'll eat an Enchanted Crystal Arrow, trying to disengage. Light Binding over the way will stun up the Ashe as they're looking to turn this one back around. Parry Difference jumps in. They'll find another one as Ice Poseidon's legendary. Double Light Binding again, and it's a double kill. It's a cross-map ace for Stuck Gaming.
And I know we've talked about this Silas pick and why it was so good using that Malphite ult to perfection multiple times. But I just want to mention that the Lux pick was actually super good here, especially because you can't block most of that damage from the Braum wall, and has been able to find some really key light bindings throughout this game that has allowed them to get some of these later kills.
Yeah, and Killering even has the map synergy. I'm not going to get to talk about it at all, though, as Yvenifar forced to use the Shockwave away. They're looking for a little bit more kick in onto Zac, and Ice Poseidon's going to need to get out of there. They might re-engage. They think better of it.
Yeah, without the Ashe there, I don't think you want to be engaging much.
Yeah, Killering has the Fire Lux for the Fire map. He called that ahead of time. That always feels good. You got to get that map synergy going. What runes does Lux have? I honestly don't know.
We've got the electrocute. That's about
Yeah,
all.
we got Electrocute, so we're in Domination Tree. Somebody wants to look it up on OPGG. That would probably be the way.
Yeah, and really just a commanding performance here from Stuck Gaming. It's going to be pretty hard for GSM to find their way back into this one. I think if you're them, you really want to try to play around this like Zac, Ashe, Braum combo, and maybe just try to find a pick in a side lane, potentially on Parry Difference or on Ice Poseidon because they both have shutdowns. But you want to be very safe and make sure you get enough vision that you're not going to be committing to a team fight that goes on too long.
Yeah, if Yvenifar does finish up the Archangel's Staff, headed into probably a Void Staff next, which is kind of an interesting item given the lack of magic resist he'll be cutting through, but it's cheaper. I feel the need for that power spike early, if nothing else. Ian Hung just eats the Lux Laser, but has the Bork to help keep him topped off. That'll be the second Rift Herald going over. Vital is actually the one that picks that one up on the Misfortune, so we'll have to see where the 80 carry goes. But I also feel that, like, you don't want to use up your ward spot on Lee Sin so that you can continue to ward dash, and your 80 is probably not going to ward anyway, so might as well just give it to him.
Man, that Silas grabbing this free Malphite ultimate is just so scary if you're GSM, especially the way he's used it this game.
Yeah, now GSM loses their inner turret in top lane. The rotation through from Stuck Gaming as they're looking to break through some more. Lux ult, I didn't see exactly who he's aiming at, but no one's super chunked, so I'm going to assume
Look at
that
how
it missed.
fast that Luxul is regenning. It's almost halfway back.
Yeah, it's a pretty good ultimate ability as it turns out. I think every ARAM player will tell you horror stories about it.
And that's without much cooldown.
It does have Ultimate Hunter in Transcendence apparently, so. Oh, there's the big ult. Parry Difference
no.
finds that one along with the Light Binding from Killering. Ian Hong is wiped off the map. My big surprise is they only got one kill off of that.
Yeah, definitely
Oh, they're going to find another one, though. The dash forward, they'll kick in Zac. They'll find a kill and a turret. It's a good shockwave to try to disengage from Yevhenifar, but just not enough as Parry Difference flashes forward for the W, and that'll be the inhibitor in mid lane.
Yeah, Stuck Gaming just tasting blood, and now they're going to go back to this Baron, I assume, and try to do that as well. Just everything going right on these engages for Stuck Gaming.
Yeah, maybe try to bait. They also do have the dragon up in 10 seconds, so it looks like they're going to allocate some time and some resources over there. And Shiny Bidoof's headed there. You can always do the flyby Zac steal if you can find a way in. It looks like he's just going to do his Krugs. But...
That
yeah,
does put
another
Stuck Gaming on the soul point with that third Drake now.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was another big fight for Stuck Gaming. They're going to get some items topped off. Rapid Fire Cannon, the finish item for Vital, along with the Essence Reaver. And then 2 items on Parry Difference. Feels pretty good with the Proto Belt and the Luden's Echo. Death Cap finished for Killering. Your big boy Ice Poseidon also finished up the Death's Dance, so he's sitting on 2 items. That feels pretty good.
Yeah, this is a game that's going to be pretty difficult for GSM to find anything. You might be able to find picks, and I think that's about the best you can hope for and try to delay.
Yeah, and Parry Difference even picking up an extra Oblivion Orb, the most powerful item in the game. But Vici, his big counter, he has the... I can't think of the name of that item. This purple thing. It's Adaptive Health. I had to look at it.
Yes.
Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, anyway, they'll start up the Baron. Shiny Bidoof isn't interested in this. He's not on the right side of the map. He's looking for that gank onto Parry Difference. I don't think they can kill it.
Not in a 2v2 scenario for sure.
Yeah. So that'll be the Baron for Stuck Gaming, and we'll see how they want to try to close this out most effectively. Right now, Parry Difference walks into bottom lane. They're going to assign 4 to top. That makes sense.
And Parry Difference, kind of feeling that maybe something's going on with this Malphite engage. GSM was definitely hovering that way, but now he's just going to back off and let his team get pressure elsewhere while he waits.
Yeah, Lord Reeves is a little chunked as a result of that Baron take. Hope that doesn't come back to bite him, but yeah, everybody else pretty healthy. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through. They're going to follow that up. They're actually going for the Wombo combo. Vital's chunked pretty low. They'll find 1 kill, but can it get turned around? The teleport from Parry Difference. Let's watch him. He grabs the Malphite ult. He comes into the back line. He finds 1. He'll dash back out, not able to find the chains as that was the combo that they needed, but Vital and Lord Reeves are the only ones who fall.
Yeah, GSM just finding a little bit of life there. Pull off the Malphite and Orianna combo and able to pick off the bot lane of Stuck Gaming, so they buy a little bit of time for themselves and get the teleport out of Parry Difference as well.
Yeah, at the very least, the game isn't over. You also still didn't cash in any of those shutdowns, though. Ice Poseidon, Parry Difference in Killering still standing strong with those big gold bounties above their heads.
And Vital says in the chat, in all chat, I promise I'm not the one doing the damage. Trying to question where that enchanted crystal arrow goes, and I almost didn't think that they were gonna fight off that, but Malphite flashed in, and they did find a good Oriole.
Yeah, it looked promising. Had they been, even or even just a little bit behind this game, I think that they can find a pretty big team fight win as a result. But Parry Difference is so huge. Once that teleport comes through, the rest of the team can play around that strength, and they turn it 2 for 2 and take the inhibitor in the process, which is, I think, the big win at the back of that. The kills were even, of course.
Mm-hmm. And now it's pretty standard here for Stuck Gaming. Just going to play around this bot lane tower since it's the last lane remaining with any outer towers. So with this, the last of their Baron going to get this last tower and then try to go towards the inhib tower.
Yeah, the last bastion of hope. They're going to hit the Enchanted Crystal arrow. They jump forward. They're looking for parry defense, but he's safe on the side. Bullet Time cutting through, doing a lot of damage. Catalyst is able to stop a lot of it. Ice Poseidon goes in. He'll find one.
Oh.
Zack's dead in the backline in Bloblet form. They'll trade back. They get the shutdown on Ice Poseidon, but it's only Yevhenifar left alive now. Shockwave. That was Parry's Shockwave? That was
Yes.
a very confusing couple of seconds for me, but it's a double kill for Vital. It's the ace for Stuck Gaming, and we'll head to game number 3.
Yeah, Stuck Gaming playing this game out to perfection around the top side, and picking engaged tools so they had ways to force fights. Just all around a dominating performance from Stuck Gaming as we head to the Silver Scrapes.
Yeah, might as well. That was a little disgusting there to end the game. Might as well. Just flex a little bit when you can, though.
If you can, why not?
Yeah, 29-9, 26 minutes on the clock for Stuck Gaming. We'll head to Scrapes, and yeah, do you want to analyze it really quick, or do you just want to go ahead to break?
I don't think there's much left to analyze after the parry difference.
Show the chat the
dominating
chat.
performance.
Message sent, says parry difference. Anyway, here's a graph. There's a lot of damage. Lux did a lot of damage. Silas did a lot of damage. Lee did a lot of damage. And nobody on GSM really did. Gotta get that big esports notification right then. Could watch TL and CLG right now. But don't do that. Watch the game 3 that's final. Oh, I need scrapes. What am I doing?
The important stuff here, Maris. Come on.
I was hoping I timed that up perfectly. I didn't quite, though.
Wow, you got the best version of the scrapes. Should let them know we're ready.
I mean, it's ready whenever they both click the ready button, not when we do. I don't think they would wait for us anyway. I wouldn't blame them.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
Just in case it was us holding them up.
Yeah, Pro Draft is pretty resident sleeper. I agree. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, then into draft for game number 3 between GSM and Stuck Gaming. In game number 1, we saw GSM execute very cleanly, kind of slowly, but very clean game. In game number 1, behind a Shaco and set pick. In game number 2, we saw Stuck Gaming kind of assert their authority, and Silas and Lee Sin were the big stars. And we'll see where we go for game number 3. Already some different bans, as Lee Sin taken off the table, as well as the Volley Bear in the first rotation from Stuck.
Yeah, Stuck Gaming coming out with the 3 same bans, and I don't blame them. Definitely had a game plan going into that second game, and didn't want to change from that. So we'll have to see what GSM decides the first pick here.
Karma makes sense as that first pick. That's a pretty big takeaway. It's a big flex between Lord Reeves, Killering, and Parry Difference. But now in the pockets of GSM, I would imagine it's Catalyst. I don't know about Yvenifar playing the Karma, but it'll be the Ashe, the counter lock-in for Vital.
Yeah, and I think probably one of the best ADCs left up here, and definitely something GSM has prioritized in the first 2 games, so nice to see that they picked that away, and then we're going to have a set pick. That's interesting. I don't know if that's going to go top or jungle. They probably pick it early here as a potential flex, and a pick away from Vici as one of the carry options.
Yeah, could also be support for Lord Reeves as well. Not unheard of.
That's true.
Although not very good into Ezreal, so that would be at least some deciding factor there. But
yeah.
Karma Ezreal, very standard, boring lane, but one that is very effective at what it does. So Ian Hong will lock that one in. And now I am curious if we'll see an early jungler from Shiny Bidoof, or we could see the Ornn, because that's available.
Yeah, I think honestly the Ornn pick, if you're gonna play a tank topside, is what you want to pick here, because that will for sure get banned away in the second phase, as Stuck Gaming really wants to get a good matchup for themselves.
And the Silas again, it's already 2 good ults to steal. The Karma's pretty meh, but even that one has its situational uses, so.
Yeah, and Silas is one of those counters into Ornn that's pretty good. Just one of the few champions I feel like that can deal with him most of the time, especially with that heal. So nice to see that they go back to that Silas in the top side after the Ornn lock-in.
And then Echo gonna get taken away. Which is interesting. I'd like to see an Echo from Shiny Bidoof or from Yveltal, but
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Both of them play a good amount of Echo, so really just gonna ban two lanes at once there. We'll have to see what the last ban is.
yeah, and the Cinder away from Killering, he had a decent performance on it game number 1. Orianna means that we're going to get entirely new mid laners, so I'm excited about that. I guess not necessarily, we could still see the Lux come through, but...
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they don't ban the Lux here. Such a factor in that last game. Definitely want to see them on something else, but looks like they're going to go for the Cass.
Yeah, Cassiopeia is something we saw banned last game. It's another one of those safer, magey type characters. And now Stuck has their decision on where they want to put this set number 1, I think is what they have to decide. Looks like it's going to be jungle if I had to guess, as Leona gets locked in.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. Not really something that was too surprising, especially after Ezreal lock-in. Like you mentioned, not a great lane for set. And then they had Sylas already in top, so might as well give your mid the counter pick here when you know that you're not going to be opting into that set support.
Yep, and TF is a consideration currently, and that'll be locked in for GSM. Much more standard team composition. This is one you could tune into a pro game and see so far, and Aatrox would be very interesting because that would give us some thought as to if that Ornn was like a jungle Ornn or something weird. The Shaco being hovered for a second time.
See,
And
Time
that'll
winding
be
down.
locked in. So games 1 and 3 for Shiny Bidoof on his signature Shaco pick. It's at least one that he likes a lot, and we'll see if he can make it work for a second game. Lissandra is a consideration, and that'll be locked in. So some frozen tombs coming out of that mid lane.
Yeah, I don't like the Shaco pick as much in this game because you don't have a carry top. You have less lane options to gank. But we should see what he does. Did perform really well on it in that first game and decided to go back with the championship on the line. So can't really blame him playing something that he wants, that is comfortable for him in this last game.
Yeah, it almost feels more like a... people talk about having like a jungle bridge pick. You have the Ezreal that wants to scale up, you have the TF that kind of wants to scale up, you have the Ornn that wants to scale up, so you need an early game jungler. I don't know if that's exactly what the Shaco's in mind for, but I could at least see that argument for it. Anyway,
Yeah,
we are into the actual draft, so I'll go ahead and show that
Yeah.
on screen. But...
And Venifer really had a great TF game yesterday against Return of the Middle Six, using the pick potential of the TF really well. Was able to go to the side lanes and really have an effect, and I think that once he hits 6, it'll definitely be something you have to look out for from the side of Stuck Gaming.
Yeah, I am also kind of interested with the Sylas pick, if we ever see him pick up like a TF ultimate and just teleport around the map a little bit more. There's some decent Sylas ults to steal, starting with his lane opponent, which is probably the biggest consideration. But
Yeah, it's definitely not as good as it was last game, where you could just pick up that Malphite ult every single time and just blow somebody up. But there's still decent ults to steal. You've got the Ornn ult, you've got the Ezreal ult, and you got the Karma mantra that you can steal. But yeah, TF and Shaco don't give you a lot of ult presence, and that maybe that's why they decided to go with that Shaco not wanting to give another ult over to the Sylas.
yep, and again, using our whole 27 seconds that we get allotted to hover various champions. A little bit of mind games being played. A lot of Malphite hovers after that last game. I appreciate you, Venefar, just locking in TF. They're killering him in after my own heart. But,
I have to say, as many times as Sylas took the Malphite ult last game, it seemed like he was the actual Malphite in that game. I didn't see a whole lot that General VG was able to do.
yeah, I think that numerically that actually works out. I think that he Malphite more than Malphite did, but we continue on in the draft and see all of these picks that we were already aware of. Again, thank you guys for joining. This will be the last cast of the Summer Splash, finishing off with our Diamond final. Congratulations to all the teams that have competed this season, and thank you for playing with us. We look forward to seeing everybody back for Fall Split. What's Shaco Chroma? Do you have an opinion on Shaco Chroma, Lane?
I already put my answer. I said blue, but I just like blue.
Oh,
so.
You were the first one to answer there. Okay.
That means I get the priority, right?
I think that's how that works. You didn't say first, though.
That's true. I didn't say first. It'll be interesting to see how Stuck Gaming executes on the Ashe pick. Definitely was pretty good for GSM in the first 2 games, and now flip-flopping sides here. Should be a pretty strong bottle lane for them. Ezreal, one of those few ADCs that can really deal with the Ashe slows because he has a way to get out of range of it, but...
Yeah, there's just a huge amount of single-target crowd control, though, from Stuck Gaming. Right, you have the Ashe arrow, the Leona's a lot of single-target. You can point-and-click with Lissandra.
And even set.
Yeah, even set with the single-target suppression. It's a lot of pick. And TF, not exactly known for his mobility, we'll say.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they decide to abuse that, and hopefully TF can just shove waves and go try to look for roams, probably along with the Shaco, who can find some interesting routes, places to be.
Do you think there's any chance he opts for an AD TF?
I think it honestly depends on if Shaco decides to go AP, and that's something they'll have to talk about.
I think it's a low
AP
chance.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Did opt for that rapid fire cannon to get the extra length on the engage, like 3rd item when he played it yesterday. So definitely not completely out of reach for Juvennifer to pull out the ADTF, but we'll have to see what Shaco decides to build as well.
Yeah, get to match that up between yourselves. You could also go some AP on Ezreal, just really flip things around if you wanted to. Don't do that, but you could do it. Just don't.
You could do it, but
yeah, all in all, I just think that the ease of execution again is for Stuck Gaming. They have such an easy combo to pull off, and that's kind of what I want to see. You've got the adrenaline pumping. It's game 3. You've taken your hit, and now they're just gonna go out there and ball. They're gonna play some League of Legends. They're gonna click some buttons, and they don't have to think while they're playing with a lot of these champions, right? You can play very instinctively, whereas I think GSM's team comp is a little bit more difficult in terms of that. You need to set up your TF ports. You need to, set up your Shaco boxes and things like that. Maybe I'm undersimplifying or something like that, but
no, I agree. I think especially when it comes down to the last game, you want to have the team comp that says see someone, kill someone, and I think Stuck Gaming through the draft has done that with this, with all the CC that they're able to put out, whether it's Lissandra or Ashe or Leona or Set, and I think that you're really gonna have to see GSM use this TF ult really well in order to combat the strengths that Stuck Gaming has in the mid to late game.
Want to take bets? I don't know about bets in the chat, but let me see hashtag SG win or hashtag GSM wins if you're feeling it. Your bet's a tie. Ooh, okay. Well, that's pretty spicy.
They just go on infinitely playing forever.
I could see that. We don't have like the... What was it for a
who
while?
scales
Was
better
it
infinitely?
Was it like a... Was it a Yi Tarek that would just hold the game hostage? Or was it
like-
a Nasus? I don't
I
remember.
feel like you've got to do it with some type of stacking champ like Vigar, Nasus, or like Cho'Gath. Like those
I just
champs.
remember there was like an EU West game that lasted like 3 hours or something, and it just had
Oh my god.
a infinite stacking. Like it was a duo. It was like Nasus and somebody else, and they got super fed but refused to end the game. But their 3 teammates were weak enough that they couldn't like 3v5. So the 5 would just, inevitably kill the other 3, and it just lasted for forever. Anyway, enough about weird things I've seen on Reddit at one point. The scoreboard isn't right. Hold on. They're on that right side. I just need to add a 1. Okay. I can do that. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the ultimate game of the 2020 Summer Splash, the Diamond Final. Gonna end off this best of 3. I'll leave chat on because they really wanted me to, and chat I think wanted me to as well. So anyway, on the bottom side of the Rift, wearing the blue health bars for game number 3, looking to rebound from that rough game number 2 will be Gecko Slammer Armageddon, and on the top side of the Rift, wearing the red health bars, looking to continue their dominance, will be Stuck Gaming.
Yeah, definitely have the momentum coming into this final game of the finals. That's definitely where you want to be. You don't want to be questioning yourself on what went wrong in the last game. Definitely want to come with the momentum. So, Stuck Gaming already added a little bit of an advantage there.
It was duos on opposite teams. Okay, thanks for that clarification. I just remembered seeing something. It sounded ridiculously stupid on Reddit, and I didn't commit it completely to memory, but yeah. Not that there's anything non-ridiculously stupid on Reddit. Also clarification. But Shiny Bidoof going to start his red buff. We're not going to see that late invade this time from Stuck Gaming, instead of opting for a much more defensive ward, and it's pinged out by GSM. I think they're aware that that ward is there.
Yeah, again, you don't really want to throw here in this early game, so I think both teams just wanting to play it a little bit safe. And just a normal start to the game.
Yeah, that was a big leash for Shiny Bidoof. He's going to hit a very quick level 3 as a result of this, while Set's still farming up some of his jungle camps. We'll see if he can use that to his advantage. This is the first game I think we've seen both junglers start on the same side, so we could see them clash up in the top lane here, or clash near mid, potentially.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a stronger 2v2 if the Shaco decides to go top. Alright, sorry, a stronger 2v2 for Stuck Gaming if the Shaco decides to go top, but maybe they'll look for a mid gank with this red buff, maybe get some early pressure down.
Yeah, and we're not seeing... Last game we saw Ian Hong and Catalyst really bully for that level 2, now taking a little bit more measured, relaxed approach to bottom lane, and we're not even really seeing that trade, like the big trades in top lane, which is kind of interesting. It's both teams wanting to hit that sort of mid-game spike and start to fight, I think.
Yeah, and I think Stuck Gaming, their comp is a lot more conductive to just playing this out standard, and if it does end up kind of like what we saw in the first game, where it's like a 0-0 start, you might be in some trouble if you're GSM. They want to be the ones that are aggressing after this TF hits 6 and with the Shaco pick.
Yeah, but for now, we can continue to farm up. Nothing super interesting. Both junglers actually just going for very full clears, taking all of these jungle camps out of their way. And it looks like Set's going to have the small clear advantage. He'll get to the Scuttle Crab first on the top side, and has the ward to help Shadow. Yvenifar's headed to that side, gets warded out for his trouble. But already a successful Scuttle Crab grab, which is the first time I've noticed that rhymes, but Shaco a little bit to the party now.
Yep, and General Vici already at half health. Does have the farm lead, which is good for him. Definitely just looking to survive in this lane.
Yeah, interesting is Killering's also gone for the Electrocute in this matchup. I don't know if it's for the same kind of ult reduction style, or maybe he just really likes Electrocute. Again, no particular judgment on that one. Electrocute's a cool spell. Doesn't afraid of anything.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just a playstyle thing. I want the burst, so I take it. And a nice dodge out there.
Yeah, that was a really important dodge as Shiny Bidoof was hanging out in the wings. He even gets spotted, it looks like, by Parry Difference. He gets pinged out. So a lot of information gained off of just that little dodge from Parry Difference.
Yeah, and that means it's going to be a free scuttle for this set on the bot side. And with Dragon coming up, that's a nice, some nice vision to have down.
Yeah, Catalyst able to dodge out of the Zenith Blade on the bottom side. Dark Seals, the name of the game, being purchased up by 3 different members of this game. And yeah, interested to see if we get some stacking going. See some Magi's later on.
And it just synergizes well with that Corrupting Potion. Gives you a little bit extra health and mana. So not surprised to see it come out from both mid laners, and wouldn't even be surprised if Parry Difference decides to go back and buy one himself.
Yeah, maybe we'll see Ice Poseidon grab one just for fun as well. I actually don't think Set has any AP scaling. That's a big meme. But...
So far, pretty quiet early game. Set is up pretty significantly over Shiny Bidoof in the jungle, especially after finding that scuttle now. And looks like he's moving towards this mid lane.
Yeah, Cloth forward, going to go ahead and snare up Yvenifar. Do they actually have the damage to finish him off? Going to go ahead and Facebreaker in the gold card, plus the fear now. He's going to get off the Haymaker. Oh, that almost took off Yvenifar, but it does take out Shiny Bidoof. It's first blood, and the minion's not quite able to equalize there onto Ice Poseidon. So first blood for Stuck Gaming in the mid lane.
And Ice Poseidon just waiting until his grit was completely stacked to get the maximum shielding and damage. Almost ends up picking up Yvenifar, and he's lucky to escape with his life, but nice play there for Stuck Gaming.
Yeah, now level 6 is starting to be ticked across the board. And already the dragon started up, so off of that mid gank they're looking for it. Ult's going to be channeled in the top lane as Parry Difference gets in. Not able to proc the Brittle, but he's got more than enough damage to chew through General Vici, and that's a really strong statement on that solo kill from Parry Difference. Meanwhile, in mid lane, ultimate from Killering going to be used as Ice Poseidon goes ahead and tosses him back in with the showstopper. Yvenifar?
Hello?
Hello? Oh no! TF Ultimate's going to be channeled just to see if anybody was collapsing, but Yvenifar walks out of that gank.
And that's where you're just so sad if you're Ice Poseidon trying to give that kill over to your mid laner and just didn't hit the Q at the very end of it, and maybe some miscommunication there, but your Yvenifar ends up living twice now with less than 100 HP, and very fortunate that he's able to save some extra gold going over to Stuck Gaming.
Yeah, that was the Destiny popped, though, in a defensive fashion for Yvenifar, and that means that now we're not going to see that gate up for another, it's like 3.5 minutes after that. It's a pretty ridiculous cooldown, so the TF kind of a little bit off the ball, even hurt just a little bit despite not falling completely for that 300 gold.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised he elected to use it there. It's not like he was using it to get out. He was pretty much already out at that point, maybe looking to roam top or something like that. But
I think he was checking to make sure Parry wasn't collapsing on him, and he could port away if somebody was like running after him. I don't know if that's 100% what it was, or maybe it was just a panic, like, I've got an ability. All right.
Yeah,
I've done that before.
Definitely what you want to have is a successful TF ult early in the game to kind of stunt some of this advantage that Stuck Gaming has built for themselves. But now with such a long cooldown, it's just over half left on it. It's going to be a while till that's back up.
Yeah, that I think is the part that feels super bad, is Killering's ult is back up. And Yvenifar is still, halfway, basically. Riot and their champion balance. Always goes back to that. I don't know. That's a stretch as well. But roam down, he actually doesn't have the gate, so this is just for some wards toward that mid lane. But you can see that Killering's actually... I don't know if he's frozen this way, because we, of course, don't get to look at mid lane at any point. but the wave is just sitting right outside of Killring's turret currently.
Yeah, which isn't too bad. TF now looking to go towards topside, but still that ult's down, so not going to be able to help out at all.
Yeah, Catalyst gets a Mantra Q. They're doing a good job shoving in this wave on the bottom side. You can see a small CS advantage built up for Ian Hong, and what can be kind of a dicey little matchup. Just Lord Reeves and Vital have so much engage potential with the Ashe and Leona. But Mon-Immune going to be the grab for Ian Hong.
Yeah, gets that stacking early, wants to get that going so that he can have some extra damage as it comes into this mid game. We might see a gank in mid lane here. Nope, they're just going to call it off.
Yeah, Vici taking this pink ward, he was on his way toward mid. That's probably the reason why you don't want to get Ornhorned in the middle of your gank. But maybe can look for it again now. Venifar... Okay, I thought he was headed right into the arms of Ice Poseidon. That would have been a little bit scary, but just going to be this Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, that might have been a kill that he didn't wiggle out of that time, but nothing doing there. Didn't walk in. Very different, just shoving in this Ornn pretty constantly, and because of that, it's made it pretty hard for Ornn to get CS, and has a small CS lead to show for it. As
Yeah,
they're gonna get Rift Herald.
And as a result of this, Lord Reeves walks up. They're able to secure Rift Herald, just mostly based on having this shove in top lane, having a small shove in mid, and I really like that allocation of resources. Ian Hong and Catalyst can't really punish Vital. They can maybe freeze him off of a little bit of CS, but that volley did a good job picking it all up, and you can see he's still only behind like 3 or 4. Shiny Bidoof trying to make use of this, but Lord Reeves is going to spot him out. He's deceiving through. They find him. Killering has the claw available. He'll hit the ultimate trying to get out to safety, but Lord Reeves will track him down with the Zenith Blade for the kill. Yennefer in trouble as well. Gets stunned up. Can anybody actually follow up on this is the big question. Dodge out of some cards. I don't think Killering can really get in here, although Ice Poseidon might as he flashes in for the face breaker, and it's enough damage to finish off Yennefer.
Yeah, everything going Stuck Gaming's way here. In the early game, already up 2k gold, and they're going to secure themselves another dragon as well.
Yeah, Vital might have potentially been in a little bit of trouble, but he hits the Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto Catalyst. They're looking to turn this one back around. Teleport being channeled. This is parry difference coming in on the set. Ornn is on the other side. He uses the Ornhorn trying to knock up Ian Hong. Vici finishes his well, I guess he doesn't really have the option to cancel it anymore, but he'll show up in bottom lane. He's got his Ornhorn. As the Rams converge, they knock up Vital. They're trying to finish off the Ashe. He'll be taken in by the set ult, though, and Shiny Bidoof will finally finish off Vital on the backside of the fight. Yennefer ports in. Ice Poseidon will get taken down by some auto attacks. Ian Hong gets the shutdown onto set. Parry difference will fall to a Mystic shot, and Ian Hong has a double kill on the Ezreal.
Yeah, and what looked like a really good play there for Stuck Gaming, getting the support, ends up turning out really badly. GSM is able to use the TF ultimate to move more people down there that are full health and get 3 kills out of it. So really stunts the great early game that Stuck Gaming was having for themselves.
Yeah, and they'll grab this dragon, which again means that we won't have that super early 4th dragon. We're going to get another Infernal, though. Got to get the spicy dragons for the spicy 3rd game.
Yeah, no Lux Skinergy there, so missing that advantage for this game, but we're gonna have interesting now that we move to the mid game. We'll have to see how big of an impact TF can have in these side lanes. I think that's really where the strength of GSM's comp is going to be shown. Already having a great play just that we saw a few seconds ago, and if he can keep plays like that up, it'll keep GSM in the game and even get them some leads.
Yeah, really important to finish his Roa when he did now. Starting to stack that one up. Killering goes in. They're looking for Catalyst. They have more than enough CC, but do they actually have the damage to finish him off? They do. Ice Poseidon grabbed that kill with the smite. And then Killering will finish off Yennefer, who's just a little bit too overextended in that lane.
Yeah, and we're seeing just the strength of that single target CC like you're talking about. Able to just pull off 2 kills there just because of how much CC they have, just seemingly out of nowhere.
Yeah, now Shelly gonna crash into a tower there. Parry difference and General Vici gonna scrap up in the top lane. It's gonna go the way of Set. Spoiler alert. Or Set? Silas. Too many S names.
Way too many. Stuck Gaming, Set, Silas.
Thanks for covering for me. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
You didn't need to.
Shiny Bidoof.
Anyway, it's a 2,000 gold lead for Stuck Gaming as a result of that play, where they grab first tower in mid lane, and looks like it's immediately going to get shoved up. I almost want to see you put Ian Hong and Catalyst in mid lane, throw TF down in the bottom where he can still wave clear, and just try to get your farm on for a little bit longer. That you still have your Venifar to call in toward the mid.
Yeah,
I don't know if
this
that's
is a situation
like the best
where
play.
you talked about earlier in game 1 where you have an early mid lane tower that's down with no objectives up, where you could potentially freeze this mid wave and funnel farm onto one of your carries, but not recognizing that opportunity.
Yeah, and honestly, the farm's just pretty even across the board. The one lane that we're seeing the big CS difference open up is going to be Killering, and mid has about a 30 CS advantage. Ornhorn coming in. They were looking for the gank with Shiny Bidoof, but it sails just a little bit wide. Parry difference walks forward. Has to be careful. They have the TF port as well as he'll come in. Has the yellow card up, but parry difference has already taken down Shiny Bidoof. It'll just be the trade 1-for-1. Now they flash in looking for Ian Hong. Gonna grab him with the showstopper and just so much single target CC. He had the flash and the cleanse available and still couldn't outplay all the CC.
Yeah, and we see a really nice answer to the TF and gank top. We see that they can pick up, Stuck Gaming picks up 3 members on this bot side. Really well played there to recognize that and take advantage of it.
Yeah, I also thought it was a little silly with parry difference grabbing the Shaco clone. There were 4 Shacos. Or like
He does
4
buy himself a
extra
little
people.
bit more time with that, but it's pretty funny when you see just 5 people in top lane when there's actually only 3 champions. I guess 4.
But that'll be the tower grabbed on the top side for GSM. They're on that board at least as well. Shiny Bidoof smites away his own raptor. I don't know that that's worth a Blitzcrank emote, but you know, sometimes you gotta.
It's the small things that really just get you when you're a little bit behind, get you through the game.
Yeah, headed toward that GLP again. Ice Poseidon can't quite decide on his build. I always see. I've been playing too much TFT. I always see the chain vest and then like a giant's belt. And I'm like, oh, he's building a red buff. Yeah. It's the dead
I would
man's
love to have permanent red buff on jungle. That'd be
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's just a dead man's plate. But they'll grab the second Rift Herald here at 17 minutes. They still have the tower top they can crash that into, or maybe they can make a play like we saw in game number 2, where they just burst open the game with Shelly.
I am a little bit surprised that Ice Poseidon didn't decide to go with a little bit more damage, considering he does have all of the kills and had a pretty big early advantage, but with that, he is able to tank more towers, which he's used well in this mid game, and almost get the top lane tower here, his parry difference, but we're watching top lane and Dragon goes down on bot side.
Yeah, apparently just directed camera doesn't care about that dragon at all. So that'll be the second one in the pockets of Stuck Gaming. And, you know, playing a more controlled, measured game than we saw in game number 2, but I think that's because of the counter punches that we've seen from GSM. They need to make sure that they're sure of the plays when they make them.
Yeah, and without knowing where TF is, if you're a single or a duo, you really just have to think that there's going to be potentially more people that can show up.
Yeah, Ice Poseidon will take away that red buff. TF gate is opened. They might look for this. Yeah, Trinity Force is finished up for Ian Hong, so he's pretty strong on this Ezreal right now with the Trinity Force Maramuna.
Yeah, and with all the AP damage, I think he's just not really that concerned about building the Iceborne Gauntlet. But that does mean he's going to have more damage for these team fights, but also not be quite as tanky.
Yeah, there's the Super Soaker for Shiny Bidoof finished up. Yeah, I'm kind of interested. Yevenifar's headed for Lichbane as the second item. That's relatively standard as well. Just kind of doing another check-in. Not quite enough for the Proto Belt there for parry difference, but that's where he's headed. But it feels like, despite the lead right now for Stuck Gaming, some of these item completions are coming in just a little bit sooner for GSM, and they might be in a decent spot to fight if they're able to pick one here in the next couple of minutes.
And I think that's why it's so sad that they used that TF ult just a little bit ago. You really do have those windows with TF with his ult up to get some numbers advantages in a side lane, and when that's down, really the strength of your comp, I think, kind of falls through.
Yeah, Yevenifer now in the bottom lane. There's nobody actually assigned to bottom lane currently for Stuck Gaming. They're looking to group up and get some vision around this Baron, but there's no real objective on the map for another 240. I don't think either team can rush Baron at this point.
Yeah, you don't really have a lot of good consistent damage except from Ashe if you're on Stuck Gaming, and really just none at all from GSM. It'd be pretty slow Baron takes for either of these teams.
Killering may be looking for something here, not able to find the Q for the extra slow. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through. They're going to snare up the Karma on the bottom side of this fight. Ignite trying to take her down, but Lord Reeves might fall in exchange. It's 1-for-1 as the supports both going to drop. Ice Poseidon able to navigate this, but the Ornhorn comes through. They find Ian Hong. It's a double kill for Killering as they're looking for a couple more. They'll suplex General Vici back toward his team. The Facebreaker pulls in 3. It's a triple kill for Killering. And they'll find more. Yevenifer falls. It's an ace for Stuck Gaming at the cost of only Ice Poseidon and Lord Reeves.
Yeah, really nice team fight from there. Very explosive. We saw Lord Reeves go in there and die pretty quickly while the teleport was channeling from parry difference. He's able to steal the Ornal after and kind of turn what was a GSM fight.
Yeah, unfortunately for Stuck Gaming, though, the only prize that they get at the end of that is just a top tower, the top tier 1. So, game's still a little bit in the balance. It is looking to turn towards Stuck Gaming, though. The 4,000 gold lead, nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, nothing at all. Definitely gets more kills in and more gold into their bank. Now they can use that to just force this Baron kind of whenever they want. They want GSM to come face checking into them because they are clearly stronger at this point. Next dragon also spawning here in the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, that dragon would put them on soul point. I think GSM just has to give this one up, though.
Yeah, just hope for a better day. I don't think you're going to find much success going into a straight 5v5 team fight. I'd really like to see them try to use this TF ult again to find some picks in the side lane. Maybe couple that with the Shaco as well, who can be pretty sneaky.
Yeah, it feels like they've got some opportunities there, especially if parry difference or Killering are just a little overextended. They can immediately get that turned around on them. And only Killering really able to join a fight on the other side of the map right now with the teleport.
Yeah, both teams just kind of waiting around this dragon. We might see Shiny Bidoof try to go in for a steal, but pretty dangerous because no flash to get out after he jumps that wall.
Yeah, TF will pop just to see if they're doing Dragon currently, and that might be what Stuck Gaming needs to actually force through onto it. Clearing out some wards. Dragon is aggroed. They haven't really done any damage to it. GSM looks like they want to scrap. The Ghost pop forward, but Killering gets a huge ultimate. A lot of damage being done as Lord Reeves takes down Catalyst. Now General Vici not able to hit the second part of the Orin Horn because of Ice Poseidon. The counter Orin Horn almost finds Ian Hong at the back. Parry Difference looking to track that one down, and he does. On the front side, though, Killering and Vital just layering in some auto attacks. General Vici hits the Blast Cone out to safety, but 3 members of GSM fall, and that'll be the Dragon going the way of Stuck Gaming.
Yeah, Killering just finding a great flank there. 4 GSM members walk directly into him, and he's able to just get a monster ult off that forces Ian Hong out of the fight. And really well played and good setup there from Stuck Gaming.
Yeah, and you can see General Vici trying to set the battle line with that Orin Horn, and really nicely done by Ice Poseidon to use the showstopper, throws him into the team, even gets the extra splash damage for his trouble after delaying the Orin ultimate, and yeah, just a really, really well played fight from pretty much everybody on Stuck Gaming.
Yeah, and Ice Poseidon barely getting out with any HP. I thought the Dragon was going to finish him when he flashed over that wall, but I was able to recoup enough health. And, now Stuck Gaming in a commanding lead, looking to just probably get Baron and try to finish this game off.
Yep, they already have the vision control set up. They don't even need to do any extra setup for it. Shiny Bidoof going to find Lord Reeves, and I don't think he can really accomplish a whole lot. Throws the Super Soaker in, but has to get away as soon as Killering throws any attention his direction. Ice Poseidon's really
just
fast.
Not caring.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't care about any damage at all. Now that he's making me eat my words with that tank build that he came up with, and is now able to just walk in and face tank pretty much anyone.
Yeah, they're buying a little bit of time, I think, for Silas's teleport to come back up. They don't want to. You don't want to throw at this point in your game 3, so make sure you're checking all your boxes. Lord Reeves just going in for a little bit more vision, but he's very tanky. He can handle some of this as well. Silas's teleport's back up, so now we could see the engagement start to happen. We could also just see them turn onto the Baron potentially as well.
And I think you could just kind of use this Dragon as a bait to let Parry Difference just kind of punish this Ornn on the side lane. Definitely the stronger member, and not going to be able to do much in that 1v1.
Yeah, Lord Reeves is starting to get a little bit chunked. He's taken a couple of extra boxes, and not the healthiest person, but instead just going to grab a recall, and they'll continue to let Parry Difference try to work on this bottom side. He hasn't been able to get a whole lot done. It's been mostly just bouncing waves at General Vici.
Yeah, I don't think General Vici is going to be too keen to fight him outside his tower range. So it'd be kind of hard to find anything, but he does keep shoving minions under tower, which makes it a little bit harder for Ornn to CS them, and up about a half level as well. So
yeah, it also means that there's no chance of a weird Ornn teleport flank, but we're just not seeing. It's kind of weird. There's no pressure really being exerted right now, other than I don't know how to describe it, like a neutral pressure. All they have is just this extra fog of war. Ian Hong going to force to cleanse, but that CC is just so potent. They'll find their 2 picks. This is set up. I was kind of talking about it, but there's just so much fog of war that Ian Hong has to check into in order to see if they're doing Baron constantly. They're under no pressure to do the Baron, but you kind of have to walk up into that fog at some point. They're going to pay for it for that double kill.
yeah, and that's where just getting the vision control really helps him out, especially with all of the CC. Ian Hong playing that about as well as he could have, dashing away from the Ash Arrow with the E and then cleansing.
Yeah, they're looking to make a pick on bottom side. Ornhorn knocks up Parry Difference. The rest of the team, that's not the rest of the team, it's just Shaco twice, but they will find their pick. General Vici gets that shutdown, maybe unfortunately, but they at least trade something back in exchange.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that they went for that play. I was thinking that that's probably the only thing you can really do proactively if you're GSM, because Ian Hong went down.
Oh my goodness, Killering! I didn't think that would kill, but apparently it does. Yennefer first into the stopwatch, but there's still just so much CC available. Shiny Bidoof deceives away. He gets hit by a tick of damage, so they have that tracking on him, but they can't quite find the rest of the CC to pull him in. But they'll find another 2 picks onto the TF and onto the Karma.
And it's about the same effect there, whether that Leona ult lands or if you use Zhonya's, because there were just so many members of Stuck Gaming around. Ends up costing him his life, and this is going to be the Dragon setup, which spawns 15 seconds here, and that is Soul Point.
Yeah, Infernal Soul will be pretty strong. We're already seeing Killering just doing a monstrous amount of damage on this Lysandra, and giving him a little bit more. Won't exactly feel good for GSM. I think at this point you're hoping for a Shiny Bidoof steal, but even that doesn't... It buys you 5 minutes, right? Parry Difference is back behind. He's got the Shaco ult just for a little bit of safety. Shiny Bidoof is in the pit already. There's 5,000 health left on this Dragon, and he's already deceived in. It's on a relatively short cooldown, but he'll get face breakered in. He'll get punched down by Ice Poseidon. Ian Hong goes for a steal attempt as well with the Ezreal ultimate, but it just doesn't matter. It's all coming up Stuck Gaming now.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried there because Ice Poseidon...
Oh, Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands onto Yevenifer. They're looking to try to force. It's the Ornalt basically just for a disengage at this point. Teleport coming in, Killering just eliminates Ezreal from the map. He needs to be careful though, as he'll get taken down himself. General Vici gets that shutdown. I don't know that they have the damage to really turn this around. The Blast Plant into the base for Stuck Gaming, and now the Silas Orin ultimate is negated a little bit by General Vici, but it doesn't matter. It's a double kill for Vital, and now the base should be available to them.
And GSM can thank the patch that put those blast codes in, getting the full team into the base. But now Shiny Bidoof is going to find some kills.
Yeah, he'll find at least one. Parry Difference is going to go ahead and stopwatch away.
Oh my.
Vital, though, is just layering in. He'll find one. That burn will be enough. It's a double kill for Ian Hong, or for Vital, excuse me. And that'll be the inhibitor as well for Stuck Gaming.
And you kill the clone there just out of principle, you know, see target, kill target.
It's 25 gold. That's not.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to kill the clone.
Exactly. Now it's just Stuck Gaming's just looking for the end here. Don't know if there's much GSM can do except hope that Stuck Gaming doesn't group up and they can go for a pick with the TF, but not much going to be left if Stuck Gaming decides to just group up here. They might need another neutral objective to end it, like the Elder or like the Baron, but definitely a strong advantage here.
Yeah, I think the only way you lose a fight at this point if you're stuck is if you just wander in and get picked maybe by the Ornalt and by the a big setup of Shaco boxes or something. I like that they're really taking advantage of these blast plants just to dick around, basically. Lord Reeves sweeping through the jungle. They have the minion wave on the top side. This should be another turret going the way of Stuck. Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands. It's cleansed away, though, by Ian Hong. Orn ult trying to counter-engage just a little bit. The Ezreal chunking through just a little bit. But Stuck staying strong on the top side. For now, until they leave.
Now big engage tool down with that Orn ult going away. Not going to be able to really force a fight, but might be able to hold off of this tower. I think they have enough wave clear. Oh my.
Killering. The killer instinct there flashes forward, able to eliminate Shiny Bidoof from the map. And now it's a 5v4 with no jungler. Not that that's a huge deal. Still a minute left on that Baron, but you can continue to pressure in. Ice Poseidon doesn't carry, gets the face breaker onto 2. He dashes forward, hits the W. It's a lot of low health bars as Parry Difference finds one. They'll finish off Yevenifer. They'll finish off the turret as well. General Vici getting autoed down by Vital. It'll just be the inhibitor falling on the top side. We'll see if they can finish it off. Abscond doesn't quite connect, but Vital is frontlining on the Ashe. Needs to be a little bit careful, but Ian Hong can't quite find home with the Mystic shots. One Nexus turret's fallen. They'll dodge out of the True Shot barrage. They're trying to defend, but Parry Difference has found him with the Abscond. He'll shift away. They'll trade back. They'll finish off Ice Poseidon. Now Shiny Bidoof is available. They're trying to track down a couple of additional kills. Arcane shift forward, they'll find parry difference. It's a shutdown for Shiny Bidoof, and Lord Reeves falls as well, so a little bit of an overextension. They don't quite finish the game, and with Baron spawning in 10 seconds, could this be the opening that GSM need?
Yeah, if you're GSM, you got to be rushing for this Baron. It's kind of your last-ditch attempt to try to save this game, but it's going to be pretty slow for them to do it. With Isosidon still spawning here in about 15 seconds, and they haven't yet started the Baron.
Yeah, now starting it up, General Vici in the area as well as Ian Hong. So the three men start it. Yevenifer can port in. Teleports coming up. That's Killering. That is not who you want to see entering the pit. He goes in. He'll get stunned up, though. The Baron's doing so much damage. They'll find the pick, but they can't get the Baron, most importantly. Yevenifer ports forward, not able to find Vital, though. The Nexus might be falling in the background. A teleport back into the base to try to save it. The minions just beating down on the Nexus currently. I guess it's still a Nexus turret available, but... yeah, they get out of dodge. They grab another pick, I guess. They'll continue to extend the game.
Yeah, and Killering loses a lot of his stacks there that he had on that Magi's.
Oh, Shiny Bidoof. He's
Gotta
looking
go
for it. He's going for it.
Oh,
he got it. He got the Baron. I don't know that it matters, though. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands from Vital. They're trying to chase down into the base. But... I don't know. That's what you needed, right? That's the play.
That's about the best you could hope for if you're GSM. Just stalling it out here.
Yeah, 33 seconds on the Elder Dragon. Going to be another attempt, I think, for Shiny Bidoof to prove his worth. Man, he got right in there into melee range of that Baron without them being able to do anything about it.
Yeah. I think they just didn't know he was there, and then by the time they did, it's a little too late, but we're going to have the Elder Drake now. With Shiny Bidoof still down, no chance of a steal. They just started up now.
Yeah. This objective is going to be critical. Parry difference just uses the Orin ult, but now the counter Orin ult from the other side. A lot of damage being forced through. They're not able to steal the dragon with it. General Vici in trouble. You don't want to get executed here. He needs to try to get out. He's going to get ulted in by this set. They're collapsing down. Yevenifer's really low. Vici gets executed by the Elder Dragon. Yevenifer does as well. Shaco finds Killering on the side, but now the Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands. This looks like the last battle for Stuck Gaming as they do track down 4 kills with the Elder Dragon, and they'll roll through the base with the minions on it. Ian Hong, the last one alive, trying to defend with his life. Kites away Ice Poseidon, layering in some more damage. Can he defend the Nexus? I don't believe so. Lord Reeves going to die to the fountain. Parry difference diving forward. He's right on the steps, but he'll execute Ian Hong. He'll execute the Nexus, and Stuck Gaming takes home the 2-1 win and the Diamond Summer Splash Championship.
Yeah, after a shaky game 1, Stuck Gaming just 2 dominating performances back to back, playing super well around the Silas in the top lane. Just really good series from them, and congratulations on placing first.
Yeah, that's a 9-0 split. They dropped a couple of games along the way, but really well done by Stuck Gaming. We have a new Diamond champion for the first time in a while, really, and congratulations to them. Let's take a look at our damage charts for that game. Killering really popped off on that Lysandra. That was just a really nice performance by him.
Yeah, just bursting people down, just going in without any fear. Found really great flanks on the Lysandra pick. Definitely the carry that Stuck Gaming needed in the championship game.
Yeah, so that's going to do it for our broadcast this season. Thanks everybody who tuned in to the finals. We'll look forward to seeing you for Fall Split. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you, Lane, for joining me again. Always appreciate casting with you. My slightly shameless plug, if you enjoy our casting, you might go follow us at MiddlesticksGG. We'll have some more action for you later on. But thank you guys for watching. On behalf of Get Wrecked, we hope that you enjoyed the broadcast, and we'll see you for next split.